Hey, there we are. Hi, friends at home. Hi, friends at home. I have Twitch open. Let's mute that. Oh. Well, that's fine. You're still here just in time, Erica. We appreciate you being here, both in Twitch and online. If any of you have seen an Occultists Anonymous video, live stream, you never would see this in a video. I have to fix the cameras because, of course, I do. As Craig said, I celebrated. I said, "Oh man, I'm already set up." He's like, "You jinxed it." And I was like, "Nah, it's fine. I jinxed it." Nice and neat and tidy. This is what happens. This is what happens. Wow, I'm so off. Yes, I know you're in the wrong spots. I totally saw that. Totally was paying attention.
And you can kind of interchange me and Jen sometimes.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody is unique and special snowflakes and deserves their own specific corner of the overlay.
I mean, we're both salty witches, so.
We really are.
That's fine. That's fine.
So good.
All right, cool. There we go. Yeah, so hi, folks over there in Twitchland. I am not any of the people who run Gehenna Gaming. They are all gone this weekend and said, "Hey, do you want the keys to the car and run a thing for us?" And I said, "Sure." I don't know that they knew what they were getting into with this, but here we are. So this is Saturday night one-shots. We are playing Mage the Awakening. If that immediately makes you panic and run for the hills, please stop, sit. It's okay. This is here to teach you Mage the Awakening is your friend, and it is not as scary mechanically as you think it is. It can definitely be super spoopy and terrifying, and if you ever wanted a game where you're not a monster, but you have absolutely monstrous actions and can absolutely ruin people far more beyond just killing them, but really ruin them, this is the place. It's okay, though. We're going to 1936 Germany, and the only things to ruin here are Nazis. Because Nazis are for punching, in case you were concerned about that. So, yes, we will be going tentatively through we're going full speed through the Chronicles of Darkness rules. I'm expecting that if you've been watching Gehenna Gaming, you are at least remotely familiar with them, and then all of my players here are familiar with the Chronicles of Darkness rules. The mage stuff and the spell casting and the thing that makes people run for the hills, we're here for that. We're going to walk slowly and carefully and gently through, and I'm going to hold everybody's hands, well, except for Craig. I mean, we're going to get to intros here, but Craig is my buddy. He's from Occultists Anonymous with me, where we do Mage literally every Friday for the past 2 years.
Only 2?
Yeah, right. Yeah. So, and that also tells you that Craig has put up with me this entire time. So, yeah. Definitely something not right with Craig. Yeah, to start off the quick introductions and get into stuff. Hi, I'm Drew. I will be running this this little chronicle, and everybody else, you guys are welcome to introduce yourselves in whatever order you wish. And also take a moment to introduce your characters. And unfortunately, we weren't able to get like a super synced up session 0, so everybody's characters were kind of made a little bit separate from each other. So we'll spend a little bit to get everybody's characters kind of relationshiped up amongst each other. So yeah. All right, Craig.
Here, I'll go first. I'm Craig from Occultists Anonymous. I played, my character was Weird in the first Chronicle, and now I'm playing Theodosia in our Into the West campaign, the second Chronicle. Tonight I will be playing April Winters. Her shadow name is River's Wisdom. She's sort of a mentor to the group in a practical experience is the best teacher sort of way. So I'm expecting her to kick people in the pants and send them out to do stuff they don't necessarily want to do and that kind of thing. Could be a lot of fun. We'll see how it goes.
And you didn't mention it when you're making it, but I realized afterwards, I was like, so you made Miss Frizzle the practical application kind of mentor. Obviously not the science vibes, but the like, all right, we're just going to do some stuff, and if everything gets broken, well, we'll fix it.
I was thinking more from the lady from Doctor Strange.
Thanks.
Sure, yeah.
Sure.
Jen, Erica.
Okay. Hi, I'm Jen. I go by Savage Sparrow on the internet. Tomorrow you can see me streaming Pathfinder. I will be running a one-shot for the Penny for a Tale channel. Definitely check it out. Also, speaking of punching Nazis, I have done artwork for this amazing TTRPG that's on Kickstarter right now called Mora. It is about creating cinematic gaming experiences, and punching Nazis is one of the genres that you can play in, where it's basically just all the pulp tropes of, Indiana Jones and mystical artifacts and, most importantly, punching fucking Nazis. Tonight I will be playing her given name is Daisy Radley, but she has reinvented herself as the socialite Dahlia Chalamet. And her shadow name is Calamity Jane.
Very cool.
Hey everyone, I am Erica Fassa, also known as Rosie Rexit. I am a freelance TTRPG writer by day. Actually, no, by night, really. I work logistics by day, TTRPG writer by night. You may have seen me on such titles such as Scion Demigod and soon to be upcoming Scion God and Trinity Continuum and a lot of other things you can find on my website. Today, I will be playing a character named Ashley Van Ravensway, shadow named Cole. They are a bit of a awkward artist who, just kind of doesn't really fit in and prefers, just kind of chilling with the dead because at least they don't bother her.
Ooh, about that, yes.
Prepare for disappointment.
Yeah. Now that said,
Hi.
Cole has a lot of control over said undead, so yeah, the bothering is more of a stop that, and they do. So yes, but no, poor dead people in the Chronicles of Darkness do not have a good time. Cool. So yes, if anybody is following along and does not hear the satisfying rattle of the clickety-clackety math rocks, that's because we're using Roll20. You're totally welcome to try and play Mage on your table, but there's a couple different bits of math tracking that I find much easier to do in Roll20. So we'll be playing over there and just sharing our dice rolls as we go. Yeah. Just a quick little reminder, and I'll mention this probably on the outro, but because I don't know when the gang usually does their announcements, but Monday is Gehenna Gaming's Monster Hearts 2 Gehenna Academy. Friday is going to be V5 Dark Ages, and then next week, Saturday night one-shot, so same time frame, right, will be a V5 Cyberpunk campaign, which is going to start off their month of charity one-shots, and then next Saturday will be raising money for the Lost and Found Youth and LGBT youth charity in Atlanta, Georgia. Sorry, I'm just reading these off a script. Lots of stuff to look forward to then. Righto. So completing some little character doodad stuff. Also, I just realized I don't have to put that over there. So we have our three characters. Let's move Father Howard Stark. Unfortunately, we did have Seder, who was going to join us and is unfortunately unable to. So I'm shifting some gears kind of midstream here, so bear with me. But yes, April Winters, also known as River's Wisdom, is the mentor specifically for Dahlia Chalamet. Well, actually, of course, that wouldn't even be the name that she gives to any mage. She would just introduce herself as Calamity Jane. And Cole is not necessarily a mentee because they are of different paths. Let me actually explain what paths are. They're more or less kind of like classes for Mage, in the fact that they kind of are a lens of what you see for magic and what magic you are innately good at, but in no way limits what magic you can do. Some stuff is harder, some stuff is kind of middling, but there are specifically some magics that you are very good at. So the Acanthus, April, let's see here, actually, can I get my pointing right? April and Calamity Jane, River's Wisdom and Calamity Jane are Acanthus, so they are good with fate and time magic. So yes, manipulating luck and probability, seeing into the future, seeing into the past. And poor Cole has basically been seconded, and dragged into this mission because, well, they're all part of the Free Council, and they're answering, shall we say, a open invitation from the Nazi party to come out to... Oops, I lost track of the name of the place already. Yeah, this is about right for me running games. Sorry, gang. What is the name of this place? Castle Wewelsburg. I apologize, any German speakers, if I have butchered that. But it is, small little castle out in kind of idyllic farmlands, but it is the hope to be central hub of German Aryan SS culture. Just gonna backtrack a little bit here, guys. I'm gonna be talking about this stuff. Fuck Nazis. Just a quick reminder. We're not on board with any of this. This is just the setup. But because of this and it being a big cultural hub, well, of course, every important socialite, artist, philosopher, basically in earshot and willing to make a buck, are invited to basically weekly parties, some really large monthly, get-togethers, and it is just a big social hub, and it's a great PR move, at least in their estimation, by the Nazi Party. However, this is the Free Council, who are pro-humanity, pro-democracy, and are not particularly big fans of, fascists. So our three members here have been, tagged with, hey, why don't you take a minute to go see what they're up to? Because within Mage the Awakening, obviously we have the mundane world, but there's definitely some magical goings on in the darkness, in the shadows, in the hearts of men. And so they've been deployed. And, Cole is being selected because Cole is, if I remember correctly, an artist herself. As well as, what is Cole's connection within the art world, actually?
Mostly just like sketch artists, like still lifes, using like more traditional mediums, like, well, charcoal for one.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a medium that you can always get just by using any piece of coal you can find, and you can always create very evocative pieces of art with it.
Gotcha. So she's an artist herself.
Yes.
Gotcha. April Winters, her actual name, is a dancer. And then, well, I don't know if Dahlia would necessarily profess herself as being an artist, but I suspect she likes being...
She's the life of a party, darling.
Exactly. So, of course, these are, wonderful people to accept invitations to this lovely... sorry, you guys at home aren't watching this, but the lovely little castle here. It's quaint, it's small, and as we pick up live, and feel free, by the way, as we run, to interject and be asked questions. This is all about learning the system. So if you guys are like, wait, hang on, what? Or can I do something? The answer is probably yes. But tonight, the clouds are a little bit heavy. The rain is coming down, and not a torrential drizzle. Well, hang on, I don't think you have a torrential drizzle. Torrential rain, but it's far more than a drizzle. And there are some spotlight, large lights atop the castle, and leading up to it. Clearly, a little bit of rain is not about to stop the get together. Cars are driving up in a nice, not necessarily motorcade, but coming up and taking their time and being let off, and uniformed men with umbrellas helping people out. And you guys are in the back of your, I wouldn't say quite limo, but an upscale vehicle that the Free Council has ensured that you have. And I think actually all three of you have a little bit of resources, so perhaps got together. So I'll give you guys a chance to kind of talk, plan, potentially spellcast, as you try and determine what you guys want to do.
Right. So, how are you two going to approach this?
Cole looks over at Calamity.
I mean, I don't know, darling. Like, I always just, if there is a door, I go through it. People just let me in. Who wouldn't want me at a party? Just look at me.
Action without attention. I can respect that.
As a note, I do have striking looks 1. So, particularly charming.
Yeah, and to note, the three of you definitely have invites to this, so you're not necessarily having to get through the door, but getting beyond said door into whatever other shenanigans are happening here. That would be the question.
Yeah.
Thankfully, Cole's got occultation, so they kind of disappear into a crowd pretty easily.
Unfortunately, actually, hang on, let me double check. I haven't used that merit in a little bit.
That's from the supernal sense.
So if I remember how it worked in Requiem, it kind of...
Oh, it is definitely not the same as the Requiem one. No, this is a mage merit. Specifically, this shrouds their supernal magical connection. Now, notably, this is, if you run into another mage, this basically helps shroud your identity, and recognizing Cole. Let alone even getting down to recognizing, oh my gosh, I've forgotten your character's name already. I'm terrible. I apologize. Oh, okay.
It's Ash Van Ravensway.
Thank you. Yeah, I was like, wait, hang on. It's not written on the sheet. Okay, I feel a little better. But yes, it is not the same kind of occultation that Requiem has. Now, that said, there are definitely some spells that actually I think you and Dahlia have.
Yeah. Because I can cast, what is this? Incognito Presence of Mind on Cole. So that would hide them?
It would potentially hide, because you can cast this on multiple subjects, and you actually both have access to the spell. The reason I bring that up is because you both have just Gnosis 1, so you are still newbie, just getting started mages. You can maintain one spell actively at a time. Easily. You can definitely do more, but it becomes a little bit more of a challenge. That is probably, there's the stereotype out there that mages are OP. This would be one of those spells. People just don't notice you. You just walk right by them. There's no rolling. You just walk by them and you don't care. Now, of course, if you run into something magical that might detect things, then we get other die rolls to see if your sneaky is better than their detection. But yeah, those are both very useful. And I believe, what's the other bit? Fate and time could also be used to kind of well-timed steps and whoops, and you missed me and you didn't notice me. There's the game points out a coin flip could easily be controlled by fate, but you could also do so with matter by making one side of the coin heavier, or forces, which would change the rotation or gravity or what have you. There's a lot of different ways to skin a cat, flip a coin. Now, that said, if I remember correctly, Cole also has, and I apologize, my character sheets are acting really funny. But yeah, you have the stealth, and then you also have the specialization in plain sight, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, that will definitely just have you... Wait, where'd she go?
Just kind of keep, like, a low aura profile. Just be like, you don't see me. I'm just blending in.
Absolutely.
It's like, I'm going to turn into a wallflower.
Then I think I will probably cast Superlative Luck, because that seems like a good idea to have going into a situation.
Mm-hmm. And 100% absolutely feel free. A note, and this is also one of those, hey, mages aren't as OP as you think. Casting spells upon yourself, if there are other mages in the area, and generally speaking, we're talking sensory range. It's a term we're going to talk about frequently. If they're within shouting distance, visible distance, they will get weird little heebie-jeebie vibes that something supernatural has happened. And if a mage turns on Mage Sight, if your spell is related to a specific arcana, they will notice it. So if they also have Fate Sight, they may notice it. If they have Prime, which is kind of the big meta magic kind of thing, they can spot awakened spells at a snap. Now, they do technically have to roll to notice things that are, like, for instance, incognito presence would help cover that up a little bit, and so they would have to roll to actually spot it. But yeah, so that is one of those pro-con things of like, okay, do we do this now or do we do it when we're inside? Because if they're watching the door and they are mages themselves, because at this point you guys have no idea what's in here, you know, they may notice you as you walk in, but if we're inside, they may notice when you cast. Pros, cons.
Okay. What does our mentor think? Do we buff ourselves up now, or?
I absolutely think now.
Okay.
Before we get too close and draw attention.
Cool.
It's been a while since I've done rotes. Do I add yantras for rotes, Drew? Or
yes,
just
it is a potential yantra. Yep. You can add the skill as a yantra. But yeah, for Superlative Luck, Craig, are you casting that on their behalf, or are you going to let Calamity Jane?
I'm absolutely going to let Calamity Jane do that. However, I will be throwing in a Fool's Rush in. Since the plan is to not actually have a plan.
Hi, guys. Fate mages are dumb. Yeah, we're not going in with a plan, and because we're not going in with a plan, we're better.
We're just going to be awesome. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, trust in the wheel. It always works out.
It is not fair. So, real quick, and we'll come back around to Jen's spell. For us, on Roll20, we have a little template here that shows me that Craig is spending 6 reach on this spell. What are we spending that all on? Instant and scale and duration?
So it's actually 7 reach, because I forgot the instant.
Instant scale reach.
Well, the +3 effect and the +1 effect.
Oh, okay. Let me go pull this silly spell up.
So the +1 reach gives subjects with these dice bonus equal to potency on a number of dice rolls, not including spellcasting rolls, equal to potency during the duration. They can choose which rolls are affected before the dice are rolled, and they can include any action or task, so long as they are instant or reflexive actions taken in the moment and not arranged ahead of time. And the +3 reach means that... So I'm good with the reach.
Yeah, you do
the
not
+3 reach gives them the same effect, but includes spellcasting rolls.
Okay, so... Craig read that off very fast for everybody at home. No, you're good, bud. For everybody at home, this effectively says, normally with Chronicles of Darkness, you would take a -1 or -3, depending on what skill it is, penalty. If you're not trained in it, this spell does away with that. Says, nope, you don't have to worry about that. That's the base.
Not this spell.
Yeah, Fool's Rush In is the second paragraph.
Right. So there's no untrained penalties at all.
Yeah.
And then you've also got the bonuses.
Right, and if you're
playing.
entering an unfamiliar social situation, this is the big reason why this is great. Subject's impression level also increases by 1. So immediately, everybody you guys meet just likes you just that little bit more. Again, Fate Mages are dumb. And on top of that, you're giving them 3 plus 3 rolls.
That's right. So any rolls you guys are going to do for the next scene, you can choose which rolls are going to have a +3 bonus tied to it, like +3 dice.
And that's 3.
And that'll also cover spell casting.
Right, and that'll be 3 for individual. You are not sharing them.
Okay.
Yes, Erica?
So I guess I was gonna try casting a Ghost Shield on me as a preemptive spell, and I guess how will that work now with all these crazy Acanthus bonuses?
Not a thing. They're
all right.
Yeah, they don't interact. There's no issues. And this is actually a good question here because River's Wisdom has laid the spell on the 3 of you. You guys are able to determine if you want to do this on just yourselves or across everybody. Now, in Cole's case, because you were talking about Ghost Shield and protecting both your soul, but also preventing being messed with by ghosts, you're the only one likely to mess with ghosts. So that's a spell that, like, you can probably safely think, okay, this is just something for me because I'm the one likely to run into them. But in like Jen's case and doing superlative luck, that's something that helps the whole group. So
I feel like I would like to do party buff.
Sure.
So all right.
Yes, let us walk through this. We will start at the top. If you're at home, follow along. And actually, Erica, we can do this in parallel with Cole's spell because it's going to be the same questions. So first up is Reach. I refer to these as the big adjusting levers, wrenches, however you want to look at it, from the base spells that exist. And folks at home, we are talking about spells that are in the 2E core book that are provided as examples. Technically, these are not the limits. This is not D&D where you say, I can only cast Fireball. No. Fireball is just a guideline and a suggestion. We can go do whatever the hell we want within certain, levels. So, for you guys, because you have Gnosis 3, you have Gnosis 1, a default spell has 1 potency, 1 target, lasts for 1 turn, and will take you 3 hours to cast, which is, generally speaking, why the number 1 reach everybody takes is instant cast. You're not going to sit down and meditate and hone your mind for this spell. We're just going to do this on the cuff. So that's going to be 1 reach that you need. If you are going to cast on multiple people, which is increasing the scale, you have one of 2 options. You can spend a reach, which pushes it to an advanced scale. Oh, sorry, quick note for you guys playing with me. There's a spell casting handout in Roll20 that lists these out, and you will have separate columns for standard versus advanced. So if you spend reach, you move over to the right side advanced column. So in talking about scale, if you scroll down to, sorry, my sheet is misbehaving. There we go. You can see that scale starts with 1 subject who is size 5 or an area that's arm's reach. If you do advanced scale, we move over to the other side. 5 subjects, still size 5, but a large house AoE. And you do pick either individual subjects or an AoE. You don't get to double it up. So in this case, we know Jen is probably, Calamity Jane is wanting to cast this on multiple people, so advanced scale is probably the better choice, unless she wants to take a -4 to her die pool, which is iffy. Right. Going back, we have instant, scale, advanced duration. Normally your spells last for a single turn, but if you bump it over and can be increased to multiple turns, which are 3-second increments, or you move over to the advanced scale where stuff starts to count as hour or a scene, day, week, month, and stuff like that. So since you guys are probably going to be at this party for longer than an hour, potentially a longer spell might be necessary.
Okay.
Now, if I can just interject, do you have that spell as a rote?
No.
Okay.
I do have fast spells, if that makes a difference.
That lets you fling spells,
Okay.
pow,
Yeah.
and so people can't dodge them unless they
Okay.
can dodge bullets.
Okay.
So you'll determine what additional reach you may need for that. In the case of Ghost Shield, I believe that has a specific bonus as well. Pulling that up here, that is listed extra. Yeah, so you can give protection against their physical attacks. So if the ghost is Joe Schmo, the plumber who's got a wrench, or a Revolutionary War soldier who's got a musket, any of those kind of things, you would have armor against. And notably, this spell provokes a clash of wills, so they would have to roll off against you to see if it even damages you. Okay. Yeah, if you guys work out what total reach you guys think you need, go ahead.
So does reach, including, because I saw, for duration, I want to go to advanced duration.
Mm-hmm.
So rather than having it just last for one scene, but for, 1 day, how would I calculate that in?
Sure. So that would be penalties if you look on the handout here. And folks at home, this is where Mage gets dumb. You will see the -2. Those are penalties to move down, and that will be penalties to your die pool. So in the case of duration, you want it to last for the day. So we go advanced, bloop, and then down -2. So that would be a -2 penalty to your pool. But we'll get to that here in a minute. For now, we're just talking about the reach, so you would want to be over on the advanced.
Okay.
So, yeah.
It's fine.
I feel I'm really sorry.
No,
okay.
I think so. You wanted instant cast,
Yeah.
advanced scale, advanced duration.
Yes.
So you're overreaching. You need 3 reach. You've only got 1 for free, so you're overreaching.
Let's not even get into the free stuff yet. Yeah, but
Sure.
I know. Yeah, so if you're good with 3, then you can put in 3.
If I use my coin, does that make a difference?
It does not give you additional reach. That'll affect the paradox, which we'll get to at the end. It's fine, and 100%.
So then 3?
Sure.
Okay.
And again, this is all just our starting worksheet, and if we need to tweak it a little bit once we have everything up front, we can. And
then 1 free reach?
This will determine based on the level of the spell and your arcana. So in the case, this is a fate spell. If I remember correctly, you have 3 fate.
Correct.
And this is a fate 2 spell. So you have, because you're exceeding it, you have 2. Because every spell has 1 free reach. And then for each level above that, you get an additional 1. So that's a fate 2 spell. You have fate 3, so that gives you 2 free reach. Same thing with Cole. Ghost Shield is a 2-dot death spell. You have death 3, so you have 2 free reach.
Now I know.
Yep. And then it'll ask
penalties to increase potency would be.
That will determine. Depend on your specific spell. So in this case, you were doing superlative luck.
Yes.
Okay. So superlative luck is a fate 3. So technically, we got that wrong. You only have the 1 free reach. That's fine. You don't have to go back and do anything.
Because I'm trying to go through the spell template button thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know
fine.
how to go back.
You unfortunately cannot.
Okay.
I think you can escape out of it, but.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, do you want me to?
Yeah, it's up to you. If you're good to play catch up.
All right,
and
so 3.
It looks here, Erica. You did it once and then went back around.
Yeah, because I had an additional free reach because of the difference between the spell and my arcana, or my rank in death. So
cool, sure.
So what would the penalty be in this case?
For each level that you want to go up, it's a -2. Now, in the case of superlative luck, it is a duration spell.
Yes.
And trying to walk through. Yes, it is, but I want to go through these step by step. And again, folks at home, there's a reason we're doing this on Saturday Night One-Shots to explain how this works. So it is a primary factor duration, which means we haven't talked about it yet, but you'll have bonus extra duration. Other spells will have bonus potency. In this case, for superlative luck, as written, the spell says the subject gains the rote quality on a number of mundane rolls equal to potency. So for each super cool roll that you want to use, you would want to increase the potency. By default, it starts at the 1. And if you want to give, say, the three of you 3 of these awesome die rolls, for those of you who are familiar with D&D, this is effectively rolling with advantage on whatever rolls you want. You would need to take a -4 penalty, because it starts at potency, so -2, -4, to get us to 3 potency with a -4 cost, so to speak.
Okay, so I'm putting in -4?
If you want to have 3 potency. It is up to you of how many of these dice rolls you want to give.
What do you recommend?
So, because of the power and strength that you guys are currently throwing around right now, 2 or 3 is probably safe. Too many penalties, and you'll have a hard time even making the spell happen.
Okay, so -2 then?
Sure, that'll give you 2 of these rolls.
And then do I need to add the minus or just put 2?
Either way, it'll show up on the screen. We all know these are all negatives anyways.
Okay, and then penalties to increase duration.
Right.
Do I leave that alone?
So, in this case, you don't need
it...
to, because it is a duration spell. And this applies for all the primary factors. You get free steps in that handout based on how far down you want to, based on how progress you are in an arcana. So for your fate, for Cole's death, you would just automatically move down that death. Ghost Shield, I believe, is a duration spell, same as Superlative Luck is. So there's no need to take penalties for additional duration. Both of you have moved to the advanced column with Reach, and then get to count down. Unfortunately, you both have 3, so this makes it very easy. You go, started here, and we move 2, 3, because you start at 1. So that means that for these spells, you guys have it out to a week. Now, you probably will end it before then and be like, I don't need this anymore, but that's the default for it. So like for Cole, I saw you have the -2 to duration. Probably don't really need it because it'll last so long.
And then yantras, nothing?
I hope you have some yantras, especially since you guys are sitting in the... Yeah, no. Yantras are the... and this is where we get to get kind of fluffy and have some fun. This is your coin. I believe Cole did... what was your dedicated magical tool? Did we determine that?
Scrimshaw knife.
Right, yes, the little bone scrimshaw knife, which is awesome. Sadly, Ed isn't here, but he had a Bible inlaid with gold. And I was like, that's freaking awesome. And what was Craig's? Actually, I don't remember that I saw it.
I have a few, but my dedicated magical tool is a black cane with a silver dragon head handle.
Yes, and because we don't care about it doing damage or anything like that, it's a thing. It's a special thing that's important to you, so whatever it is, that's what it is. That's a dedicated magical tool. So the yantra bonus here are any tools, and these can be physical things, these can be concentration, that are necessary or that help focus your mind on a spell. So for spells like this, where you are doing stuff together, mirrors or cups are very useful. Your dedicated magical tool can always be used. Sometimes it's better, sometimes it's kind of okay. The dedicated magical tool's real purpose is to reduce paradox, which we'll talk about with that overreach stuff.
Okay.
But
Do
yeah.
we input a bonus?
So this is the question where we have to figure out what yantras you're using. So we're going to start with Craig so he can give us an example, because Craig has much higher gnosis, which means he can spend, April Winters can use multiple yantras. You guys are limited to just 2 at a time, but they can be 2 that you've picked from a selection. What ones are you using there, Craig? Because you can use, 4?
Yeah, so I'm using expression. Pardon me. Nope. This will be athletics as a yantra. And dedicated magical tool, and I'll be passing around a small chalice of wine.
So there we go. So that's a cup. That's
and shadow name.
right. for you guys, I believe Cole, you took Shadow Name. No, did neither of you take?
I did.
Calamity Jane took Shadow Name with 3. So that is how to describe that. That is the This is a question of, does Calamity Jane do spells like this? As a mage persona, the way I kind of reference this is kind of superheroes. Clark Kent is a journalist, and he takes pictures and he does that stuff. Superman goes over here and does these amazing wonders, but he does not sneak around in the dark and glower at people and tell them fear me the way Batman does. So the Calamity Jane persona that you take on, is it a lucky kind of character?
Yes.
Right. And this, I knew the answer. Don't ask questions unless you already know the answer, right? Calamity Jane lives that charmed life kind of thing. So this one is a perfect one to apply the Shadow Name to. So that would be 3 just by itself. Because you guys are in the car and able to be kind of chill, you can actually use high speech and kind of speak magic words, the language of things. And it's not great for conversational stuff, but it adds punch to your spellcasting. So with high speech, that's 2. Your Shadow Name, in this case, applies. That's 3. So that's a 5 die bonus.
Cool.
Other bonuses this is actually where Fools Rush In could apply, or you can spend willpower, things like that. In this case, probably not really necessary, but you can determine if that's necessary.
Well, you had also said that the magical tools like mirrored surfaces and stuff like that would be good. So again, my coin's the shiny silver coin, which is mirrored.
Right. No, and 100%. This is the question. That would provide you a +1 bonus, but it reduces your paradox, which
Oh, okay. So we want to save. You can only use it for one or the other then?
You can use it for both. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
But
okay.
yeah, but if the yantra doesn't apply necessarily to the spell, you can just use it to reduce paradox.
Right, instead of the +1.
Okay. But since it does apply and it can reduce paradox, then shouldn't I do it? Okay. I just want to make sure.
Right. And it's a question of, do you take something that gives a higher die bonus but doesn't do paradox, or do you take the smaller die bonus and the paradox reduction? And that's the question. In this case, I think, you use the +1 and then reduce some of the paradox.
Okay, cool.
So Shadow Name and then 1 for your coin.
So 4.
Well, wait, wouldn't it be 5 because of the high speech too?
Because you can only use 2 yantras at a time.
Oh, fuck.
That's the trade-off.
Right.
All right, hang on. Let me go through this goddamn thing again. I'm so sorry.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine. And while you're going through that real quick, we'll jump over to Erica, because it looks like you've got your thing set up except for yantra bonuses.
Yep.
So in your case, you do not have Shadow Name, so that's not an option. But we do have high speech, so that's +2 that you can provide. In the darkness, in the quiet, away from other people, high speech is a really decent one to use because it's that +2. But as soon as you get out there in front of people where they will freak out because you sound like you're speaking tongues, we'll avoid that. It also takes a little bit longer, so you don't want to necessarily use it in combat. But so we can use high speech here, and then you could pull your scrimshaw knife out because you are doing a bit of overreach. Perfect, thank you, Jen. The scrimshaw knife, do you see that as a weapon, or do you think of it more as a rod? These things, these items, for instance, Craig's cane could be both rod and weapon. Only one applies at a time, but do you see how do you see the knife?
It's more like a foci, so like kind of using it like that, like the rod.
Sure, absolutely.
So instead of being a weapon, using it as a foci to focus, and then to help the increasing of the spell casting.
Yeah. So in that case, a rod would totally work, because here you are casting and commanding ghosts to fuck off. And I'll be honest, this is a one shot, so we're just going to be kind of loosey goosey. consult your ST when you're playing Mage the Awakening on whether stuff applies. Don't argue with them. Have fun. So yeah, Scrimshaw Knife, that's Paradox Reduction and the Yantra bonus, and then High Speech, so that's 3 on top of what you already worked out. So we're going to do Paradox because you always do Paradox first. Here's the most important question about Paradox. Are you going to release Paradox out into the world and let it run rampant, or will you try and contain it within yourself? There is a good guy answer and a bad guy answer, but sometimes the good guys have to do the bad guy thing because they're desperate.
I will
Contain.
take care of my own paradox. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and definitely the right way to go. The big thing here is mechanically, if you release it out into the world, it can affect your die pool. If you contain it within yourself, it will never attack. It will never affect your die pool. So in that case, because you're spending 3 reach, you have 2 free. That means you are overreaching. I'm trying to use all the right terms, right? By 1, because you have Gnosis 1, that's only 1 Paradox die. That 1 Paradox die is being reduced by 2 because of your Scrimshaw Knife. Everybody with me so far? Which means we're at a -1. Chronicles of Darkness says if you have a negative die pool, you can still try. It's just a chance die. So we're going to roll a chance die. It says 8, which would normally be a success. Sorry, ignore that. It's a chance die, so you have to have a 10 to get a success. Paradox, nothing happens. And even if there was a success, there's another roll where you actually contain it. In this case, we don't care about it. So now, 51 minutes in, you can actually roll to see if, and we're going to do Cole's real quick just because we're on it, and then we'll come back to Craig and to Jen. But coming here, so your Gnosis 1, your Arcana of 3, so that gives us 4. We decided we're not taking the penalty for duration because we've already got a week. We don't need it to last a month. But bear in mind you need to add in 3 from High Speech and your Knife. Mm-hmm. So roll 3 more dice because it's that grand total of 7.
Okay. Do that. Doop.
There you go.
Cool. 3 successes, and this was not a road or praxis, right?
It was a road.
No, it is. It's a road.
Oh, in that case, you didn't even have to roll paradoxes. You had even more reach. So, whatever. But thank you for playing and helping us out. And yes, the spell goes off, shielding you from ghosts.
F off, ghost.
Only took us a little bit. That's fine. And
just to give you guys an idea, the first time we cast a spell on our stream, we were a solid hour until we actually rolled any dice. So you guys are way ahead of us.
It was bad. Okay, so we'll go ahead and do Jen's, which we have the 2 overreach. You are using High Speech and Shadow Name, so we are overreaching by 2, which means, okay, actually, important question here. Because you're overreaching by 2, the Paradox pool is 2 dice currently. You can spend mana to reduce that further. You can reduce it down to 1 die and then down to a chance die should you wish to spend that mana. In this case, I would suggest just save it for now because Superlative Luck already is going to cost you a mana because it's a beefy spell. And also, Paradox is not as scary as you think it is. Just wait until we do Craig.
But I did save my coin. Can I use it to reduce the paradox?
No, because that is part that is, you have to use it as the yantra.
Gotcha. Okay.
Right, and that's fine. So in this case, we're actually rolling with the 10 again. So we're rolling 2 dice. Hey, a success! Try it, Con. I ran 2 different one-shots. I had 0 successes with Paradox. So I'm taking this as a win. Okay, so Paradox has entered your spell a little bit.
Okay.
You have to roll Wisdom now, and this is why you want to... Wisdom is the morality stat for mages.
Yes.
And this is where you go, hi, Paradox, I'm going to bundle you up and shove you down and ignore you and just have you contained. All you guys have 7 wisdom. That's the starter dice, so just roll 7d10. And you can use the little roll with 10 button. That's fine. We had 1 success, 1 success. We're net even. So long as But this does mean, and this is where we get into some Stranger Things stuff, there's a little bit of effect it has on you. You take 1 bashing wound, which will heal naturally in 15 minutes. It can only heal naturally because it is a resistant wound. No using life magic or time magic to speed things up. It is unaffected by magic. You gotta suffer through. How does this appear on Calamity Jane? We can do the classic, there's the bloody nose or a bruise on the shoulder or...
Yeah. I imagine it's just like some bruises on her shoulder and she just takes a shawl and tries to like continue being fabulous.
Yeah. And again, small bruises, goes away in 15 minutes, not a big deal. But yes, perfect. Now you actually get to cast the spell, which, as you worked out, is 4 minus 2 is 2, plus 5 for the Yantra bonus, so 7 dice.
Ooh. Hey.
2 successes. Spell goes off and covers over the 3 of you. All right, Craig, how far did you overreach?
By 1, 3 dice.
3 dice. Now, everyone's
So-
going... Go ahead.
Yeah, so because I'm Gnosis 5, anytime I'm working magic, it just has that much more oomph behind it. So my paradox pools are going to be much larger than yours. So when
yeah.
you guys overreach by 1, you only get 2. I'm generating 3 paradox every time I overreach.
They have Gnosis 1, so they're only getting 1.
Oh, 1. Oh, wow,
Right.
that's easy.
Yep. So 3 gets us 1 success, so you got to roll your wisdom. And we let Craig cheat. I don't know if he'd really have 7 wisdom. Well, no, actually, based on your last character, you probably still have 7 wisdom.
Yep.
I want you to fail so bad so we can have you... Okay, never mind. We're fine. So yes, River's wisdom, flexing her wisdom, contains the paradox, takes the 1 bashing wound, and you can now roll your spell. 9 minus 6 is 3, plus 9, 12.
Yeah. Yep. An
5
exceptional
successes.
success.
Perfect. Yes, 5 successes in Chronicles of Darkness is a exceptional success. There are some things, they all have praxis spells, which allow them on 3 successes. But in this case, because it is a spell, you automatically get a willpower back, though I think you're probably still maxed, because we just started. And then you get to take an additional step. Well, you get to choose, among a couple options. One is recovering mana that you spent on the spell, plus 1, or get an additional step in the primary factor. So again, in this case, Fool's Rush In, which is over here. Is that a duration one? Yeah. So it lasts longer. Which, we don't really care about that. Or gain a condition on yourself or one of the subjects.
I would like to give a condition.
Which we've never done in 2 years.
That's right, because we are greedy. I would like to give a condition to my mentee.
Sure. And I think with Fool's Rush In, I think there's a really good condition called Charmed. Yep. Which you enjoyed the protection of magical good fortune. This is in the core book. It's on, not core book, the Mage book 315. Effectively, you may invoke this Twist of Fate at any time as a reflexive action. If used to avoid injury, reduces the damage to 1. Read the words that are there. Otherwise, neither you nor the mage know exactly how it will happen. It just gives you a lucky break. And so when you want to tie in and like, oh, nope, I'm just exceptionally lucky, and I'll figure out what exactly happens.
In D&D terms, it'd be like a bardic inspiration. It's floating around. You can just draw on whenever you like.
Exactly. Woo! All right. An hour in, 3 spells cast. I will count that as a win.
That's awesome.
And that's time for our break. No. But we'll actually get inside the castle first.
And just to clarify, you guys don't have any untrained penalties for any of your skill rolls. So if it says -1 because you're not trained, you ignore that. It improves your standing, your social standing, and all interactions that you have with everybody around you. And you've got a pool of +3 that you can draw on 3 times for any kind of die rolling that you're doing for the next month until I cancel the spell.
Right. And of course, because River's Wisdom has higher gnosis, can actually maintain 5 spells at a time. So, right. So, to quickly move things along, you guys are in the car, kind of leaned in, passing around the wine glass, speaking high speech. Your driver, who I'm going to suspect is a sleepwalker from the Free Council, and, is just like kind of looking in the mirror, going, mages, as he pulls up to the Nazi castle, where the door is opened for you by not a butler. When would they be? Whatever.
Valet.
Valet. That's the word I was looking for. Thank you. And leans in, has the umbrella, and sees there's 3 of you, and like motions for some other folks to come over, and escorts the 3 of you through the rain up to the front, where the doors are wide open. There's a nice warm heat coming from a couple fireplaces, the sound of music being played, and right here in the front, it's definitely a, what do you want to say? It's not designed for affluence and impact. The the tapestries are there on display because of course they are there. It's a castle, man. Anyway, sorry, Indiana Jones. Hi. Tapestries are on display. And I mean, the 3 of you look in various levels of dressed up for the occasion. I imagine Calamity Jane is leaning into it with striking looks and all that.
Oh, yeah.
Cole probably a little bit more subdued, but looking elegant but less flashy, I would suspect. Right. Yes, and. River's Wisdom, I don't know, is it leggy? I imagine for a dancer, right? Or
yeah, leggy.
Madame.
And yes, immediately you have the various, social people watching, getting the register of who's there. I believe, does Calamity Jane and River's Wisdom both have the Fame merits? Or is it just Calamity Jane?
I have fame.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So, and how many dots of that do you have? 2. Yeah. So yeah, there's definitely some whispers of, oh, that's her, and which is perfect because Cole can go, yep, nope, not me. I'm out of here. And
this is why we're a great team.
Since we're being she's being the focus and we're being, I'll just offer Cole my arm and we'll walk in together, I guess, if you're amenable.
Fine. I mean, kind of dressed like some Marlene Dietrich feeling vibes, so.
Well, and if any of you have seen the meme of like the twins, and one has got the rainbow hair and big old smiles, and the other is a little bit more tied up in black. This is what we got. Jen and Erica are perfectly handling this. It's terrific. Less rainbow hair, obviously, but yes, and yeah, attention shifts to Calamity Jane because Fame to one side and then striking looks to the other. Yeah, hi, I am the center of attention, and the rest of you. The 2 of you can kind of step in beyond the front entrance. And this place is, like, as you pulled up, this is fairly small, at least as far as the upper level is concerned. You do know that there are some lower levels that are dug into the rock and the mountain itself. But yeah, these upper levels of the classic, I think it's Renaissance era castle, is, fairly small. It's, it's a little fort thing. It's not some king's palace. But after that main entrance area, for lack of a better term, to one side you have a little quieter area. There's doors that are open just a little bit. And you can kind of like passing by see chairs, big plush chairs, and pulled together in small knots of people leaning in and having intense, quiet conversation, a lot of pipe smoking and drinking of, brandy or whiskey and such like that. Deep discussion kind of stuff. Of course, what they're actually discussing, can't quite make out from here. And then a little farther in is not quite a dining area. There's no seating, but definitely waiters walking around with hors d'oeuvres. The music is a little bit louder in here. It's a little bit more of a party atmosphere. And then, depending on as you guys kind of meander a little bit, the kind of, because the castle is set up as a triangle, that back portion has displays of art. Some stuff that looks like it is, doesn't look like, that is very from the classical era, potentially Greek statues. We'll throw in some, art from ancient, Raphael, which you kind of look and go, now, how exactly did you get that? Right. And then mingling in amongst everybody are, basically European, I almost said gentry or nobility, but rich folks, people of wealth and means, and a couple of people in here that you recognize as being other artists, performers, things like that. And then kind of dotted like weird little cockroaches are men in SS uniforms, done up to the nines, polished and straight backed and trying to look their best. Of note, and we're just gonna name drop this guy once, Heinrich Himmler, who runs this place, nowhere to be seen, and is actually the reason you guys are here today, because as far as you are all aware, he is in Berlin. And hopefully with the big boss away, things might be slacking or security might be a little bit more lax. And that is the main reason that you are here today. How would you like to proceed?
So as we're walking in, River's wisdom will sort of lean into Cole's ear. Old castles like this often are haunted, right?
Usually, yeah.
And ghosts aren't usually limited on where they can go inside a place.
No, they're not.
As long as they don't get too far away from their anchor.
That's
Maybe
correct.
you could do some asking around.
Definitely. Thankfully, speak to the dead is my praxis spell, because it's what I do a lot.
Now, and because you have Death 3, this is a double whammy that you can pull off, because you can do Speak with the Dead and go find a ghost, or because you have Ghost Summons, you can say, this type of ghost, here, now. And, of course, you probably want to have a nice, quiet little place to chat, but that is definitely a potential thing.
Well, if we can find like a secluded alcove, somewhere in this big old triangular castle where we can just be like chill, kind of like a dark corner, like, where people might go off to,
Canoodle?
make out. Yeah, to go canoodle a bit. Be like, I'm just going to go over here and be like, boop, ghost.
Mm-hmm. That's definitely a potential thing. And one of the reasons I bring that up is Speak with the Dead lets you spot and see and speak with them. Ghost Summons, you can actually basically force them to manifest. With an additional reach. So not only are they there in Twilight, which is kind of the shadow realm that's adjacent to us, and it's kind of shadowy and spooky, and they come in 3 flavors, but right now we only care about the death one, where ghosts hang out, and you can Speak with the Dead would let you see them in Twilight. Ghost Summons would pull them in and let you speak with them right there, and depending on what kind of ghost it shows up, will determine how they might manifest. They may show up as an image, or they might materialize and actually be physical, or they might possess an object or a person. Yep. And specifically, it's not written exactly that way, but in my mind, you get control over what kind of manifestation they use when they show up.
So I can talk to them and they don't have to physically manifest, right? So it's not like it's going to be something like out of Disney's Haunted Mansion just popping out of a mirror or something. But like can I see, like, I guess, into Twilight to talk to them, or?
Yes, you have an option there using your mage sight. You can turn on Death Mage sight, which lets you see ghosts, and then if you spend a mana, it lets you interact and talk with them. Speak with the Dead is very good for long duration stuff because holding your mage sight open for a long time starts to drain willpower. Or if you need Calamity Jane and River's Wisdom to get in on the conversation, you can cast a spell on them so they can participate in the conversation. So yeah, you have a bunch of options. You're a Moros, you have death. This is your shit.
This is kind of my thing right here. All right, so refresh my memory. Like, what is like our mission again? Like, we're here to...
You're more or less scouting the place out. If further action needs to be taken, that's River's Wisdom's decision. Because you're the Free Council, and while you're more here because we don't like Nazis. If it crosses into there is something supernaturally bad going on here, and it's bigger than us, they have some scary chained beast down here or whatever, you go call your local adamantine arrow guys, and they send a magical strike team, SWAT team in and just blow the place up, or something.
Would I know any, like, out of character? I know the Doctor had some interest in the Black Sun and, like, the occultism side of the regime. Was that like public knowledge? Would that be something that we might know?
Perfect. Let's roll. Let us roll. I think this will probably be politics or a cult. And this is totally something that if you want to go talk with your party members to see if they also may know something as you're like investigating, going, ooh.
Yep. Because if we do know, it's like I definitely want to get a ghost. Be like, so what is he doing? Ritual.
Sure. Yeah. And that's
right,
going to be intelligence plus occult or politics.
All right.
Do you want us to all roll then?
That is up to Cole at this point if she's going to rope you
yeah,
guys in.
yeah. So Cole will come up to Jane and River and be like, so I'm pretty sure he's into some occult level shit. I can't recall off the top of my head, but you remember, right? So maybe all together we work into, like, putting together the pieces of whether or not H2 is into some, occult voodoo and whatnot, and exactly what the scale of it is.
Absolutely. And remember, if you are rolling, you don't have any untrained penalties, so there's no -3 if you don't have any dice for it. And then, of course, there's bonus dice from both April and River's Wisdom and Calamity Jane if you want to take a rote action.
Okay. Do you have limits on how many of the rote actions you can take, or no?
You can take rote quality once on a die roll.
So, like, okay, so if we use it now, then we can't use it for a future test, right?
Oh, sorry. Because you gave it 2 potency, you have 2 of these in your back pocket to pull out.
Okay, cool. I don't think I'm gonna try it now. It's gonna. Oh, hey, cool! I didn't need to.
2 successes, cool. And then Erica, I don't know which. Oh, actually, let me clarify. Jen, you were rolling occult or politics?
Occult.
Okay. And then Jen, which are you rolling?
Wait.
Sorry.
You just asked her. Occult.
Okay. Yeah. And so, yeah, intelligence plus occult. Good Lord. Six dice, 4 successes. Have that mode of, let's get together. Wait, hang on. I remember this. I don't need you guys.
Hey, I'm just trying to be a team player.
Absolutely. No, we appreciate it. Yeah, so putting your heads together and showing up the mentor, right? Yeah, you basically put together that, yeah, he's into some stuff, and yeah, the Black Sun definitely comes up. Actually, I'm just, for shiggles. Yeah, actually whoops, come on, roll 20, work with me here. There is we're not there yet, but no, this guy, that is actually there on roll 20. That is actually in the castle in the lower levels. Yeah. But yes, quickly put together. Yeah, no, he's definitely into some of various paganism and a cult that they're trying to, power the German people.
All right.
Yeah. Which
So now that my so now that my mind is refreshed, it's like, okay, so obviously, there's going to be ghosts here, and they'll probably see if he's done any crazy ritual stuff around here.
So with that talk, just to clarify here, ghosts within Chronicles of Darkness are kind of locked into a loop and are generally speaking a little bit narrow-minded. Any that are still around, if they're rank 1, the really wimpy ones, they are basically reliving their death over and over and over again, and are kind of on the mad, gibbering, wild kind of ghost. The rank 2s have a little bit more sapience to them, but they are again still hyper focused in on their death, or maybe the things that they left behind or something like that. So depending on who you target, they may not have paid attention, but all of them, because of the way the spell works, summon them and send them out to go find something for you, because you can give them a task and kind of override all their madness.
Yes, I can give him a command with Speak to the Dead, I believe.
Ghost Summons does it.
Ghost Summons? Oh yeah, that's it. Okay,
yeah, Ghost Summons, for what you're doing right now, Ghost Summons is definitely the spell you want to swing.
Yep, I think I'll do that. And I'll have to do this +2 reach, because that would allow me to give the ghost a complex command to follow.
Now, as I pull up that spell, I believe, because the simple... one word command. Yeah, definitely couldn't manage that. But, oh boy, yeah. So first off, let's find a safe place to do this in.
Yeah. Yes, let's go find secluded alcove again.
Right. So
behind the curtain.
Right. And so very quickly, because I imagine you all are maybe not necessarily the best of spies, but at least you party goers. Yeah, you guys have done a tour of this place. There's not a lot of hidey hole kind of stuff that's open to, the party goers, right? There's, water closets set to the side, but there are armed guards at a couple stairs. It's very no, you all are staying in this area where we can see all of you kind of vibe. Specifically, if you guys would roll wits plus composure to spot basically possibilities of places to sneak past, or ye classic secret entrance, whatever you guys might decide that you're looking for. You let me know that. Roll wits plus composure, and we'll see what we get. Okay, 6 dice.
I'm gonna use one of my dice and a willpower.
Oh, good lord. Okay, go ahead. And then Erica, sorry, you were looking for specifically any guidance for what you were looking for?
That was just also the hidey hole.
Okay.
I guess.
Sure. No, that's fine. Yeah. So yeah. Boom, boom, boom. All right. So it's 3 successes for Cole, Calamity Jane with 1 success, and River's Wisdom with 3. Looking for a hidey hole. You definitely see beyond the kind of prime, the grand staircase, which has got 2 moderately bored-looking guards standing atop it. You can definitely see there are numerous doors that people are not coming in and out of. Of course, you got to get past those 2 guards. And Dahlia and April, what are you guys looking for? Because I need 6 different names to call everybody by.
I am looking for. I'm paying attention to specifically the spots, where there are guards posted. In particular, looking for because when you have guards in an area, you have basically your Rent-A-Cop style standard guys for this is the upstairs where the living quarters are or whatever. And then you have the armed guards who are scary and professional, and they guard. This is where our super vault is. So that's what I'm trying to pay attention to. Is
Sure.
like
comparing the guards.
Yeah.
Sure. And then Craig, what are we looking for?
I'm looking for less obviously guarded things. I'm looking for things that they want to keep hidden and draw attention to. Secret passages, a bookshelf that shifts, something like that.
Gotcha. Okay. Looking a little bit more for the environmental secrets as opposed to the people. Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, we went over. Erica, like this whole upper level, behind the guards seems absolutely undisturbed. Nobody's going in and out of there. But there's definitely 2 guards with, the little submachine guns. Dahlia can actually kind of confirm, and I imagine you guys are kind of passing notes and little whispers as you guys kind of move about the space. Dahlia points out that those guards up there are like heavily armed. There's a couple, like guards with pistols, that seem to be trying to blend in, a little bit throughout the lower level, except for weirdly, a couple more heavily armored guards back within the museum art display kind of stuff, where they are like just hanging out next to a fireplace, but they're watching the whole and then Craig kind of standing on top of that as you look around and hi guys, I'm definitely pulling from Indiana Jones. That fireplace seems a little bit awkward, like it's a little bit big for the room, and we're talking like the classic medieval huge fireplace that you would go and step inside of, and it has the little benches on the side. Are you guys familiar with what I'm talking about? It's just this absolutely enormous thing, but it's like a fairly small room. You can't imagine somebody would need such a large fireplace. And potentially, do we want to take a break real quick while you guys think about next steps?
That could work.
Okay.
Cool. All right, we will do that. So those of you... Oh, bots! I'm sorry. Bye. Bye. Cool. So folks at home, we'll be right back in like 5 minutes. Stand up, stretch your legs, get some water, go to the bathroom, do all those things to keep yourself limber and healthy. And good Lord, that's a big old cup. And we'll be right back. Hi guys, we're back. Hope you enjoyed your break. I am out of coffee, so if I'm grumpy for the next hour and a half, no. We're all good. I had plenty of coffee. So yes, we pick up with you guys in the castle, having discovered and kind of coordinated, figured out, okay, they have heavily armed guards protecting and keeping people from getting up the big grand staircase to the upper level, and also keeping everybody away from a large unlit, which I forgot to mention earlier, fireplace in the gallery area. Everywhere else have, less conspicuous and lesser armed guards. And so you guys kind of coordinate, pass some messages between the three of you, kind of walking around. And that is where we pick up.
Yeah, so Dahlia's gonna look at the others for a second and then just start heading towards the guards to have a conversation.
Absolutely. So tell me, Dahlia, do you speak German?
And
Did you take the multilingual feat? No.
I did not.
Cool.
I did not think that would be a thing I needed to do.
It's absolutely fine. The reason
don't have to speak the language to be a distraction.
Yeah.
Definitely that. But there is also... Oh no, is it a Mind 3 spell? Uh-oh. Yep, Mind 3. Whoops. Okay. Mind 3, which nobody here has universal language, which allows you to be understood, or to understand other people. That's not a thing that anybody here has. Yeah, now that said, these guys are, forward thinking, and they speak English because, it's definitely perhaps a bit of broken English, because, they're not here as hosts or anything. But yeah, as you approach, and I'm not going to attempt any kind of German on behalf of everybody watching, but yes, there is a definite, as you approach, a moment of distraction, because again, striking looks and fame, and them going, hey, well, and then as you get close enough that they realize that they're headed to you, the other way around, you are headed to them, they the hands come up, the gun gets drawn, they're very confused. It's like, why, no, hang on, maybe Achtung? My German is bad, but yeah, it's definitely a, whoa, hang on, what's going on here?
Looks as damsel-y as she could possibly look. The eyes are big and on the verge of tears. Maybe the shoulder straps of her dress just slip slightly.
Sure.
And the hands are here to maybe emphasize the chest just a little bit. And she's just like, please, you need to help me. I saw a man outside the window and he looked so unsettling. He just can't be anyone who's possibly invited to this lovely party of ours, and I wouldn't want anything to happen to all of these illustrious guests. Our host would be so unhappy if anything untoward happened.
Yeah, just leaning into it. Absolutely. I think this is definitely going to be... probably manipulation plus subterfuge.
Okay. I also have a spec in lying.
Absolutely. So that's an additional die. And as you are rolling that, and because this is Mage and it's a one shot, and because why not? Narratively, where are Cole and River's Wisdom as Calamity Jane makes a beeline to cause problems?
Once it's clear that the guards' line of sight has been disrupted slightly, I think I'll, if Cole is amenable, we'll take a little promenade down towards the fireplace.
Okay.
And if I'm still in a obscured position, I'd probably want to go ahead and summon my ghost buddy.
Okay, and we can definitely do, yeah, because unfortunately we haven't found a very, quiet spot, but this is where we'll talk about being able to do spells without any yantras and just kind of winging it and trying. So let's start real quick with the subterfuge and lying there.
Okay, so I get 1 for lying, right? And then I get 1 for striking looks, right?
I think there's one to apply, sure.
Do I get a bonus for my fame?
Ooh, that probably applies. Let's see here. I haven't played with anybody having fame before. That's a lie.
That's a lie.
If some famous, famous person came to you for help, you would want to help them.
Yep. No, it was more remembering the rules for it. So yes, that gives you a +2 because you have fame 2, if I remember correctly.
Correct. And then I guess I'll use one of my dice for luck, so that'll be 5.
Which luck? Because you have the Fool's Rush in, which is +3 on 3 die rolls, right, Craig?
+3 on 3 die rolls, yeah.
Okay. Or the rote quality, and technically could do both. You could really pile it on this roll, should you wish.
So does the Fool's Rush in give me 3 per thing, or is it just
3 per thing, 3 times.
Okay, then I will use one of that. So that would be 7.
Plus manipulation plus subterfuge.
Yes.
Oh, god dang.
Well, this is what happened. You throw 11 dice, you get 7 successes, which, again, is an exceptional success. It's not a spell cast, so you do not get the willpower back. But you do get the ability to apply, this is a social roll, so you can apply a condition. Golly gee, what condition could we possibly come up with? Oh, wait, there's one called swooned.
You're just such big, strong men.
Perfect. Yes. And yeah, the 2 of them are picking up maybe every 3rd word, but yeah, striking looks, fame, and just like the pouty face, doe-eyed, Bambi eyes, yeah, all that. Thank you. Yes, and they're both like, they're not 100% sure, but they heard about a window, and so they kind of motion you, back the way you came towards whatever window it was, and they're drawing away, and they're kind of like poking each other to stay back with the fireplace, but then poking back, no, you stay back with the fireplace, and fine, we'll just make this quick.
Yeah, she would touch their arms.
Grab the arms, and both of you come with me, yes.
Yeah, just but not in a pushy way, but just that subtle
Yeah, no, they're
over her shoulder. Give a wink to River.
Absolutely. So that comes to our ghost summons. This is one of those things where I really like Mage. So there are some yantras that make spell casting obvious. There are some that are not. So high speech, for instance, makes spell casting obvious. You're speaking in this weird language that other mages would understand and translates in their head. For other people, it's going to sound like you're speaking tongues or just, some gibberish. Pulling out special magic items like a scrimshaw knife could probably, pass without being a problem, or calling on your shadow name, which unfortunately Cole doesn't have. But there's also some like sympathy. So calling up and using plucking somebody's hair and using that on them, things like that. So in this particular case, ghost summons is not something that you have as a rotor or praxis, right? Okay. That was a nope for those of you at home. Cool. So, this is where we get into trying to figure things out real quick, and we're going to see how fast we can do this after our first spell cast, right? Okay, so we want instant cast.
Yep, so that's going to be 1 reach, and then the complex is going to be +2 reach, so for a total of 3 reach.
Mm-hmm. And then perhaps duration, because if you want them to, depending on what task you're going to give them, if it's a complex one, it might need some duration. So you may need to take that. If, however, it's a task of like, hey, go haunt those guys or cause a distraction someplace, that's something that you may only need for a couple turns. By default, it is a duration spell, so if you put it over to advanced reach, you're going to have a ghost buddy following that command for a week. So you could leave this behind for somebody. And you
Sounds like a plan.
You need an additional reach because you're currently not concentrating. You have an active spell.
So that's going to be 4 reach.
Instant,
right?
And
the +2, and then okay.
And then again, the duration question. Do you make it last for just in this case it'll be 4 turns, or move it over and make it last for a week?
Let's do the week. So
okay. So 5 reach. Yeah, which again, you saw with Craig, handled 3 paradox, no problem. You guys will be fine.
Yeah.
So that's 5. It is a death 3 spell. You have death 3, so that means you only have 1 free reach. And so then Gnosis, Arcana. Okay, so penalties for potency will be important here. This is a thing that we hadn't talked about previously because it didn't matter. But spells that target other people that they may not appreciate can be withstood. And these are listed specifically in the book, and it tells you what they are withstood by. Ghost summons are withstood by rank, so the rank of the ghost. So if you're trying to summon a rank 1 ghost who's very, kind of lost in their own little thing, that's a rank 1. A rank 2 is somebody who's kind of still sapient. Rank 3, 4, and 5, I will go ahead and tell you, you're not going to find on the mortal plane. They live down in the underworld, and they are superbly messed up. You may find one around. You can find a rank 3 in boneyards and cemeteries. But yeah, for your knowledge as a necromancer, you're basically looking at a rank 1 or rank 2. You start at potency 1, which means if you try to summon a rank 1 ghost, 1 minus 1 is 0, has no effect. So if you're trying to get a rank 2, you would need at least 3 potency, which would mean you need to take a -4 to your penalties for potency. Does that make all sense?
I think so. So I need to put in 4 for potency penalties. Okay.
Right. Duration we don't need because we've already built in. It's a duration spell, so we're already at a week. Scale.
Yep.
And this is the other thing I was going to suggest is you could spend spend a reach to get advanced scale and summon 5 ghosts, or take a minus. Yeah, no, we don't need that, so we can skip scale, and then we get to yantras. So this is where like pulling out the scrimshaw knife and just fiddling with it, especially you're a dark and brooding artist, having a bone scrimshaw knife isn't going to be too, it's not going to stand out too much. So that's a +1 and will also help with paradox. And because you mentioned before you'd like to use this as a rod and commanding things, definitely apply. It was kind of iffy about Ghost Shield. Summoning somebody and giving them a command definitely applies. And that leaves us space for that additional yantra. To go through a couple, concentration doesn't work because that's the only thing you can concentrate on is that spell. There's no, you don't know the specific ghost you're calling for, so you can't pluck you don't have a bit of their bone or something from their grave or something like that. Trying to think, and Craig, feel free to chime in here if you can think of another yantra that might apply. Because I think we may just need to do another path tool or... oh, wait, no, hang on. Your Techne. You're here surrounded by art. And so, yes. And so...
So that would give me, what, 3 yantra?
2 total.
Okay, 2 total. All right.
And then other bonuses, fortunately, this is where Fools Rush In may actually apply, because Craig took the bonus. This would be a situation where you could throw in those 3 extra dice, and you could spend a willpower to get another 3.
So that would be like, okay, let's do that. So that'd be a bonus of 6, 3 from, and then
Fools
3
Rush
from
In.
willpower. Yep. All right, here we go, everyone.
Cool. So yes, let's talk about the reach real quick because we were overreaching by 4. which gives you, because you have Gnosis 1, 4 Paradox dice, 2 of which handled by your Scrimshaw knife, so you have 2. So I'm going to go ahead and throw that out. Doop, 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 doop. Unless you wish to spend some mana to reduce that Paradox. Again, I don't really think you need to, but it is up to you.
Nah.
Cool. 0 successes, so Paradox doesn't even happen. So right on into the spell roll itself, which 4 minus 4 is 0, 2, 6, 8 total dice. 3 successes. No problem. And this is the thing I like about... okay, so hang on. I should backtrack a little bit. Because now you are calling out for the nearest ghost within sensory range. So basically, who might be haunting this room. Or summon a ghost she knows personally. She may send a general call and the nearest ghost will answer, or can specify the type of ghost, such as a child or female. So they're kind of limited on the distance that they can travel. As I am reviewing this spell and remembering, technically we should have charged you another reach, and that would have gotten you that manifest. I ain't worried about it. You did it. Whatever. It happened.
One shot.
Yeah. And specifically that basically lets them bypass the limit of their anchor, because normally ghosts can't leave that. Otherwise they start to fall apart, and ghosts don't like to fall apart. So what kind of ghosts are you aiming for, generally speaking?
Probably one that's been around at least through the entirety of the doctor's tenure at this castle, and I'm really looking for one that has probably seen whatever sort of rituals he might be engaging in, or one that might have some familiarity.
Okay, so and again, because it has to be a vague general sense, I think we would probably look for a more recent ghost. Or are you looking for somebody who's been around a long time?
I'm more recent.
Okay, cool. Absolutely. Because this is also that manifests, how do you want them to manifest? There are a couple things we talked about them vaguely. There's an image, so they're not here physically, but they're here. You can see and hear them and speak with them, or materialize and be physically here, or throw them into the statue or the painting.
The idea of throwing them into the painting and just kind of seeing, like, you know how like you see like those like at Halloween stores, like the little ones that kind of like the faces are coming out of the painting type of thing. So maybe like the ghost is coming out of that and speaking from like the mouth of some like Rembrandt looking painting.
Heck yes. Okay, so we're going to get into this is potentially a spell that other people see, and you know what? It's fine. It's a one shot. Somebody's going to look over and be like, "What did I just see?" And that's fine. Notably,
Stop drinking.
Right? Yeah. Oh, that's very good. And that's actually how they'll remember.
Around it this time, so.
Right. And actually, this is one of the things that becomes important is we talk about sleepers seeing magic. Your spell cast and the effect it has immediately, nobody could see and tell that it's a spell. You're messing around with a knife. You're admiring some art. You touch a painting. None of that looks like obvious magic. So there's no bonuses on the paradox side. That would normally increase the paradox pool. Excuse me, no, it doesn't. It does by 1, but it, again, we don't care. But afterwards, whether or not somebody sees a spell active affects dissonance and quiescence. These aren't things we're going to dig into heavily, because dissonance and quiescence happen after the scene, and we're going to be gone by then. But dissonance is what dispels and breaks down a spell, and quiescence is the sleeper, people who do not cast spells, remembering things incorrectly. So yes, if anybody happens to look over, they're going to have to roll some breaking points, and you will have to roll an active hubris at the end of the scene. We'll talk about that. But trying to keep this moving. But afterwards, they will just be like, did I really see what I thought I saw? No, I just saw a drunk woman talking to a painting. That must have been it. And I totally did not see some gaping mouth coming out of the painting itself. Cool. Righto. So yes, spell goes off. Within, Rembrandt, sure, is kind of, we'll throw it back, Hogwarts style, is a new figure kind of moving through it, and it does not match the art style in any way, and kind of moves closer, to the front of the picture and kind of leans, and the canvas kind of stretches out. What? And, looking like some guy who did not have a good day with a, we'll say the front end of a car, road rash across the face. Not looking great, but has kind of wild, angry eyes, but for now is bound to your command.
So I'm gonna chit-chat with my ghost buddy, be like, hi, my name's Cole, new here to the castle. I was wondering if you could help me out in finding some hidden things.
And without dragging out a conversation, is the command basically to find and report back on something, or
like if a ghost can sense magic or rituals? I don't know if they can to a degree.
It would depend on the specific thing, because at the end of the day, ghosts within Chronicles of Darkness are basically just portions of people that are stuck over in Twilight. So their vision is limited, and they don't have any natural magical energy unless they get into the higher ranks and stuff like that. But they would notice things that are tied to death, places that they're able to hang out, because normally they're bound to an anchor. You've temporarily made this painting this guy's anchor, but normally this guy is probably tied to his body and whatever that car was that hit him, or maybe the driver behind it. But there are other places, death gates, Avernian gates, or artifacts that are tied to death that would be a universal death energy that ghosts could hang around. You can send them to look out for that, or specifically spy around in Twilight to find a specific thing. Yeah, you give me an.
I like the idea of maybe trying to see if there's any particularly strong death gates, in this castle, because knowing the rumors and every such of the good doctor, good doctor, we know that this guy is up to stuff, and death probably abounds. So I definitely want to find if there's any strong places of particularly strong death energies.
Okay.
Who knows? Maybe there's some ritualistic sacrifices happening.
Right. And definitely, go scout around for, ritually deathy stuff and report back. I think it counts as a single task within a sentence or two. And so, there is this growl that is part motor car, part person, and he just kind of fades back into the Rembrandt picture and then is gone. But because you have 2 dots in Mage Sight, you can tell when ghosts are nearby. And so, he's departed and will report back. And we talked about this before. They weren't paying attention, but now, okay, fine, I guess I'll go look around. Is kind of the vibe that you get. And we'll report back shortly. Because ghosts move real fast. It kind of surprised me when I first played. And Craig, you were headed right for the fireplace? Yeah.
Yep. Can I do a quick and dirty while I'm on my way there?
Sure.
How much scale do I need to cover the building?
We usually don't do quick and dirty and spell.
Well, that's
factors.
what I'm wondering, if I can just cheese it, or if I need to actually roll out a spell.
Yeah, because that's advanced scale -4 to do the castle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wanted to anyone who was going to come into this area, I wanted them to get distracted by something. That's what I was looking for. So probably a ruling practice.
Actually, what is? Pull up your character sheet. Because you don't have mind. Prime. Oh, actually, Prime is actually the way you may use this and change the resonance of the room.
Sure.
And this is where we get into meta magic stuff. Prime gets to mess with the building blocks of existence, and this room currently feels like a gallery to come visit and stuff like that. Craig, River's Wisdom is going to come in here and be like, no, this isn't a gallery. It's what are you thinking?
I wanted to have like a abattoir sort of feel to it, like somebody wouldn't want to go in there and because they know they're going to see horrible things.
Yeah, all right.
Sort
sure.
of the sense they would have of it, sure.
Yeah. We'll say if we want to do the quick and dirty, we can do Gnosis plus Prime, and you'll need probably about 3 successes to kind of cover the whole room.
Okay. I will throw a couple things at it.
Sure. I figured you might. For those of you at home wondering what
3 successes!
the heck Rick and I are talking about. Quick and dirty spell casting is when you do not want to spend 10 minutes talking about the reach and the spell factors. It's like, hey, there's this kind of limited thing that I want to do. It doesn't fit a specific spell. I just want to do it. It's closer to normal skill roll with Chronicles of Darkness. You take your Gnosis, take your Arcana that it is tied to, throw in some extra bonuses if they apply. Usually you don't use Yantras, so there's no shadow name or anything like that. And you basically scale based on how many successes. If Craig had gotten less, but some, probably would have been centered closer to the center of the room or maybe the fireplace or something like that. In this particular case, yeah, there's this shiver that goes over the room, and it's still a gallery. It physically hasn't changed, but everybody kind of like, oh yeah, what's in here? And it's just like, oh, this is a slaughterhouse. This is no. I'm gonna go back over there where they're playing music and serving hors d'oeuvres. No, thanks, bye. To Cole, the necromancer who's sitting in here, this like, this isn't pleasant. This is not cool. But
it's okay. It'll keep everybody away. Give us some privacy.
And then you guys make a beeline for the fireplace. I imagine the two of you were like, oh, she's taking them there. Okay, we're going to do this thing real quick. Have a little conversation with the ghost, send him on his way, and then make your way to the fireplace. So we cut over to Dahlia. Basically, are you taking them to the window and just going to stall them there? Or
okay.
Uh-oh.
So okay. So I want to try something weird. Which is that I want to take them to like, a window in a hallway where there's like nobody around or whatever. And I want to use my psychic domination. And if I spend an added reach, then I can give them a more complex command, which was basically go home and think about your life choices.
Cool. So 2 things. Similar to Cole, you don't necessarily need a shadowy alcove. Now, originally, the issue with Cole casting a spell may have been that materialize a ghost suddenly out of nowhere, but we're going to use the painting and somebody still saw it, but that's fine. Psychic domination, terrific. You just look at them, say a word, and it just happens. There's nothing visible, and depending on what tools you're using, this I do not think applies to the Calamity Jane vibe. This is not the luck kind of vibe. But yes. Also, for chat being snarky over here, we'll say it in German. Actually, the spell specifies that the intent and thought goes with the one-word command, or in this case, short command. They do not need to understand you, so long as they have a thinking, understanding mind, which actually means you can't really use it. Now this one we will kind of want to break down, and again, we'll try and do this super fast. So we haven't talked about it before, but one of the things is range of a spell. Normally,
I can touch them.
Exactly, so that's covered.
So,
right?
Yes, because they are swooning, so it's not weird. Sure.
So one... Sorry, I just noticed Erica just flexing German in the chat. So now say it in German. All right. So yes, 1 for instant. 1 for that, giving them an action against their will, which can be a actual more complex task. You do need to deal with multiple subjects, which we have the option here of doing with reach, which would bump you up to 5 subjects, or because it's just the 2 of them, you could take a -2 to the die pool.
Okay.
And then you also have to get past their resolve, because this is, I like it. Erica does a withstand spell. You do a withstand spell. We can review. Their resolve is going to be, well, their withstand is resolve, which you know is going to range anywhere from 1 to 5 because they're probably normal mooks. They're also guards with the SS, so they probably may not necessarily have also high of resolve. Baseline for mortals is 2. 1 would be, a little bit insufficient, and so that is kind of your guideline. It is a potency spell, and you have mine 2, so that means you are starting at 2 potency.
Query. If I use my fast spell for finger guns, would that work?
And sadly, unfortunately, that is for like flinging spells across a distance.
Okay. So it wouldn't work if they're like in front of me and I shoot them in the back.
All that does is just that because you are touching them, because it's literally it's a range thing.
Okay. Well, because it also has the thing of it, they can't resist it, so that's why I was asking.
They cannot defend against, which is the Neo bullet dodging.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, it is defense versus
right.
withstand.
Okay, so then I want it to be instant, so that's 1. It's already being touched, so I don't need to add for that, right?
Nope.
Let's see. Then potency would be what? Is that, do I need to worry about that?
You do not need to worry. Well, hang on, because we're talking reach. We don't need advanced potency. Advanced potency comes up very rare edge case stuff with protecting spells against being dispelled.
Okay. I don't know how long we're gonna be here, so I would like to pump it up from, to like
duration.
a day.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll do advanced.
And then another reach for the complex command, so 3.
Instant, advanced command, duration.
Yes.
So just 3.
Oh, and 2 people. Or no, I can take a -2 to the pool, right?
Right,
okay.
and this is and that's the gamble that you make. More paradox or less chance of the spell going off.
All right. Well, let's try this. I have 1 free reach.
Now, you have this spell. Do you have this spell as a praxis?
I do!
Okay, which doesn't affect any of this stuff, but it means you get an exceptional success on 3. So, yeah. Which would allow you to get a bonus step, or the big trick here is bypass any withstand that they have. So if you miscalculate the potency, or you want to risk going with a lower potency, and you could just ignore their resolve entirely and just give them the full whammy of the spell.
Okay, so I probably want to do that.
It's a gamble, right? Because if you take the penalties to your dice pool, guarantee that you've got enough oomph to get past the resolve, or say, I'll risk it and go with more dice to try and get the 3 successes.
Okay.
In this particular case, because you have it, and you have 3 more dice from Fool's Rush In, and you have willpower, that's 6 dice by itself, plus your gnosis, plus your mind, plus whatever yantras we might be able to wiggle in here. It's not a bad bet to try and go for just the exceptional success.
Okay, cool. Then, alright. Let's see. Penalties to increase duration. I already took the
advanced reach, which will make it last for a scene or an hour. Okay. If you want to make it last for a day, it will be -2.
Okay. Well, I included that in the 3 reach I need.
Right, that has it calculating by scene, day, week. If you do not take that advance, you're counting turns, so 3-second increments.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. So scale, I don't need to worry about, right?
If you took the advanced scale, so if you took the advanced reach, you don't.
Okay. Yantras. So I can't use my tree name, but I can use my coin, probably, right?
Yeah, if you've got it at hand, and that will help with the paradox. And in this case, manipulating people, kind of the way money manipulates people, I'm cool with that. And then if you have something that you might use as a rod to command things, or...
She probably has a super glamorous cigarette holder.
Potentially.
The crystal end or something like that.
Sure. Absolutely. Or I was trying to think if there's any other yantras I can think off the top of my head, but those would be actually, we can, because you are touching them, very easy to perhaps, pluck a hair.
Yes. I do have a ton of subterfuge and they're swooning.
Yeah, I'm not even going to worry about it. Again, hi, it's a one shot,
cool.
but yeah.
Cool.
So having the hairs that represent them, that is a +2 bonus. So with your coin, that's a total of +3.
Okay. Bonuses from other sources. Okay. So
Willpower would be 3.
3 plus 3 from the other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. Cool. All right. Here goes.
Cool. Okay, so we do need technically one more reach than that because that was the advance. It's fine. You don't have to redo it. We're looking at it, and so we're all talking about the same thing. So we need one more reach because that was the scale instead of taking the -2.
Oh dang! I'm sorry.
Oh no, it's fine. Like I said, this is why I like this setup because we are now looking at it and making sure we're talking about the same numbers. So and that's fine. That's just some additional paradox, which I will go ahead and roll. It would be 3 overreach. But which would be 3 dice, but you're using your coin, so it's only 1 die. Again, this is why it's like, oh no, it's a success. All right, I need you to roll your wisdom again, so that's a 7. Because at this point, you've definitely been here 15 minutes. Those bruises went away. Oh, guess we're gonna put them back. We're putting the bruises back, kids. That's all that happens. Paradox is nothing to be scared about until you start rolling like 15, or you keep rolling paradox because it is incremental every time, cumulative every time. Cool. So actual die totals: 1 Gnosis plus Arcana is 3 minus the 2 for potency, which would be 1 plus duration. That's a -2. Oh, excuse me. Okay, I see what you did here. You increase the potency by 2. Was that the goal?
I thought I take -2 because it's 2 people.
That would be scale. Okay, no, we're good. So we had less
She actually
paradox.
wants a 2 potency in there because they probably have 2 resolve, and you need to exceed the resolve.
Okay.
In this particular case, we're going for it's the praxis, so we're going to just try and bypass the withstand.
Oh, okay, right.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. So in that case, technically it would have been less paradox, but this will just give you a bigger die pool. So we can ignore that. So we're taking a -2 for duration, so it lasts for the whole day. That's definite there. So we've got 1 from Gnosis, those 2 cancel out, Yantra bonus of 4, and then other paradox bonus 6, so 10 total. 2 successes. Okay, so it didn't happen. And that's fine. So you were basing this off of them because you have potency 2. They have a resolve of 2, so the spell does not take hold. But nothing else happens. Yeah, you cast the spell, say, you guys should go home and think about, your lives. And they kind of look at you and go, what? What are you talking about? But that's it. That's
German.
Right. Do you try and bail out, or do you try and... Now, here's the other thing. This is a thing that I do. Again, you at home, check with your ST and see. I'm A-okay with people taking, attempting again, which is a Chronicles of Darkness thing, and taking a -1 to their die pool. So if you want to throw 9 dice at it.
If I can, that
absolutely.
would be cool.
It will be another one of your +3 rolls, and it will be another willpower.
Yeah. Ooh, okay. Oh, gosh. All right. And, well, did you want to roll the paradox first?
Thank you for playing fair. Yes, that actually does apply, and technically the paradox has gone up, so it's a whopping 2. Nothing even happens. Don't be afraid of paradox, kids. It's okay.
Okay, here we go. Yay!
4 successes, which recovers a willpower. So go ahead and mark that back up. And then, yes, the exceptional success. What option do you want? We're going to bypass withstand. And so they lean in, and you kind of like, go home. Ah, okay, yes, oh, sure. And they just both, without a glance, oh, yeah, thank you. That's a great idea.
And rethink your life.
Right.
Yeah.
Emphasis there. So yes, they just kind of like, yeah, no, that's good. Yeah. And they just walk out, and there's some questions
Why
from
are we here?
some questions from the other guests and stuff like that. Where are you going? And I think you're booking it back over to the fireplace.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
gently
yeah.
and gracefully, right?
Yes, the shawl is over the shoulders.
So we cut back to the fireplace where Cole and River's Wisdom are kind of looking this thing over. If you guys would give me a investigation roll, if you're trying to like figure out what is going on here, or wits plus composure. Investigation, I would wits plus investigation, I think. Or wits plus composure, either.
I'll do
2
wits plus
success.
composure.
Okay.
Nope.
Do you cross your shoulders or cross your arms and pretend to be a mentor watching them do the
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to do. Just kind of stand back anyway and watch what she's doing.
Yeah. So Cole, and this is we haven't even touched on the matter spells. Technically, you could actually do a matter 1 spell and touch a object or mechanism and discover what it does and how to operate it. But very quickly, this thing isn't all too hidden. Within those alcoves, those seats, you find fairly obviously manipulated, kind of worn brick that doesn't have any like soot on it. It's been cleaned off.
Like a pressure switch.
Mm-hmm. Yep. What, of course, will happen when you press that switch, who knows? But it's fine. You have a chance to figure it out as Dahlia kind of comes around, and finds the two of you within the fireplace.
You have room for one more, darling.
Almost always.
We won't be having any more company.
You scare the guards with your wiles over there?
Never. They've just decided that they have to take some time to reconsider and better themselves as people.
Legitimate. All right. I think I'm gonna go ahead and, since I don't think I really need to do the matter solves, like if I've already found like the pressure switch, I'm gonna take a trip to Bad Idea Island, and
Please.
I'm going to just put my hand against the pressure switch brick and push it in.
Sure. And yeah, it takes a little bit of oomph to move, and you can feel gears moving as you do, and the fireplace where basically you would have the big iron rod which holds all the logs and such like that slowly kind of swings down, and it will be a little bit in the way, but you can see staircases that lead down into the depths. And it is dimly lit down below. You can see the stairs themselves, but the stairs themselves do not have lights on them, but they're kind of lit from below. And there's definitely another chamber down there. There's also a bit of a drafty cold coming up compared to the upper levels here. Do we have a Scooby-Doo moment of, ooh, zoom, and we're just going down, we're not going to talk about it?
Nope. We're not going to talk about it.
Dahlia just looks at the stairs and is like, oh, I'm so glad I decided to wear my chunky heels with this outfit today.
Where are you saying, Erica?
Oh yeah, I'm going with.
Cool.
Scooby gang it.
Yep. So yeah, you guys kind of make your way down, and on the stairs, and it's a one shot, so I'm being a little bit grab the controls here. You guys make your way down. There is a big chunky lever that is now currently in the down position, and a little push up, and you hear the stone kind of move back up in place. And it's like, okay, note for the future, this is our this is the lever. And as you come come down the fairly narrow staircase, and there's a landing beneath, the light coming through. And yeah, this is not like you didn't just suddenly walk into the center of the ritual chamber or anything like that, because it'd be ridiculous to put it right at the bottom of the stairs. But there are a couple rooms off of a fairly just kind of nondescript landing, good like 15 by 15 foot space, with large, heavy, like, oaken doors, that look like, they're probably from like the original, castle, kind of built to withstand, invaders of forms. But yeah, it's flat out, well, 3 big doors. And all 3 are shut. There is light coming from all 3 of them. Having to remember my mental map.
I'm gonna drop my prime spell at this point with the door closed behind us.
So people move back into that space. Okay, cool.
Well, pick a door, ladies.
This is actually a good time. We mentioned it previously, but also Mage Sight, especially once you're like, okay, we're now into the Spook Center. All mages have access to Mage Sight. It is based off the arcana that they know. The ruling arcana, the good stuff that they're good at. So Cole with Death and Matter, with our 2 Acanthus ladies, Fate and Time, and technically, I think Craig picked up a legacy that has Prime, and we haven't talked about it, but Erica also picked the Uncrowned Kings. We're not talking about legacies right now, just because it's another hat on a hat, and we're already deep. But that would potentially give another legacy and some other cool little tools, spell-like abilities in D&D terms. But you can turn those on for free. And then if you have additional arcana, so in the case of Calamity Jane and Cole, you both have mind dots, so you could also turn on Mind Mage Sight. These let you see phenomenon that are tied to those things. So mind lets you perceive thinking beings, active minds. Life lets you see effectively health bars and how injured somebody is. Fate lets you see if somebody gets exceptional successes, things like that. Matter at a glance lets you see how robust and durable objects are. Death obviously lets you see ghosts and speak with them. So if any of you turn those on, it does put a -2 to other non-magic spell rolls. So it's often one of those things where you leave somebody with Mage Sight off, so they are better at spotting things. But yeah, so those are definite options. And I was talking about that stuff, and I was like, oh yeah, there's a thing. Oh yes, our ghost friend. Yes. I was like, I feel like I'm missing a 4th member. Yes.
Ghost friend.
So Ghost Friend, who didn't bother to introduce himself, and he doesn't care to, draws up from the stone, flagstone, flooring, and it is very zombie movie-esque, where the hands come up and pull himself up, and it's just like his shoulders and head, and again you see that. I was like, oh man, I'm sorry for whatever happened to your face. And kind of looks up and kind of, it's an angry, mad face, and just begrudgingly points at one of the doors and says, there. And kind of sinks back down.
Okay, so I guess this is the death gate.
Or at least the death room. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna obviously turn on, Death Mage Sight because, well, if Ghost Friend, who shall remain nameless,
Appreciate
it's
that.
like, yep, here you are, death is here. It's like, okay, yeah, so I'm just gonna
Sure.
look around and see all the dead people.
Which, notably, as you turn on, you do not see any ghosts lingering in this space here. But and again, it is a sensory range thing, so one would have to peek through the door or be able to see through doors. But yeah, you are definitely prepared to spot that. Do you also turn on matter sight? Because you can turn on multiple at once. So you can turn death and matter on for you for free, just at a glance or at a whim. Which where is this silly thing? And it lasts for somewhere in here. Craig, how long does active mage sight last?
Forever.
There we go. Number of minutes equal to their gnosis. So you can have it on
There you
for a
go.
minute. If you want to keep it on beyond that, it costs a willpower point. So
Let's just turn it on for a minute.
yeah, and it's one of those things. There's no limit to you turning it on and off. So yeah, just quick open eyes, and you see, Greg for a little bit moment longer as he sinks into the stone and probably is drawn back to his anchor, because that's naturally what happens to ghosts. But
Bye,
no,
Greg.
bye. There's no other ghosts in this room. And you said you turned on matter sight. The doors here are robust and heavy duty, and you're like, yeah, no duh. That I can tell at a glance. The door that Greg had pointed out, because that's his name now, looks as if it has been shored up in terms of like this should be a big heavy duty wood door, which normally would have like a durability of 2. Steel has a durability of 3. This door has a durability of 4. And that is not normal.
Points that door.
All right.
That's different.
So how do we get through it?
There is a doorknob and there is a lock. Just to be clear.
Right, and this is River Wisdom's general, modus operandi. Is like she'll let you guys figure out the trouble.
Okay.
Socratic method, go.
Yes.
So
I want to investigate this lock and how it works.
I will tell you at a glance, it uses a key. Yeah, this is no like wacky crazy thing. Man, hang on, Erica, did we just talk about this? Sorry.
yeah.
Because this is one of your rote?
Yes, shadow crafting is one of my ropes. So I can shadow craft a key.
And that's a death 3 spell, if I remember correctly. Yeah, there it is.
Is it a skeleton key?
Oh.
We're not coming back, Craig. We're done after this. I get enough puns on my channel. I don't need this.
You're welcome.
These are actually pretty good.
These are pretty good.
Well, this one doesn't require any reach, thankfully, so it's just I can make a thing.
Mhm.
Object gains durability of 2 if it's a weapon. Nope.
Just
Otherwise, the object gains a +2 equipment bonus.
Right.
Great.
pull it
So
out of Twilight and solidify it.
yeah, well, and that is a different spell actually. This is literally shadow. Yeah, we don't need a bunch of reach, but it does require a little bit. But because you have it as a rote, we have free reach. We have 3 free reach, which is convenient, and I always love 3-dot spells because you can go instant cast, duration, and then you have another one that you can wiggle around. In this case, you don't really need another that I can think of because you don't need sensory range or something like that. But
No potency, really.
correct. So yeah, for this, it's just that duration, which by default is a duration spell. You now have whatever this thing that you end up making is. You have for a week. Of course, you'll probably ditch it. Now that said, actually, we still you dismiss Greg and that spell, but you still have Ghost Shield, so it does cost you another reach to cast this. Which there we go. There's our 3 free reach. So 3 reach to use, 3 free reach because it is a rote. Still with me?
Yep.
Cool. Gnosis Arcana is 3. Don't need penalties for potency. Don't need
Duration scale.
duration scales.
The
And
answer is we're kind of private, so I could use high speech.
could use high speech, and because this is a rote, I think this is the one you had tied to a cult.
Yes.
Cool. So that gives you 5 right there.
Jeez.
Is she going to be able to, like, will this key, is it guaranteed work for the spell that she's using, or does she need a push there?
In my mind, yeah, like, because for a matter mage or somebody with matter,
I guess she can like reform it as she's casting it and working it through the lock, right?
Yeah, there's a little bit of wiggle room. This is a mundane lock. It's not going to be a challenge to a mage. I mean, if you wanted to go the other way and like cast decay and just make the lock fall apart, so 6 to 1, half dozen the other. But I knew she had this as a rote, and this is one of my favorite spells. So yeah, cool. So yeah, go ahead and throw that together. We'll see what kind of die pool we're looking at. So you can throw 9 dice at that with no problem. Yep.
Doop.
3 successes. See, if it were a praxis, it would be an exceptional, but it's just a rote, so it's just you would need the normal 5. But that's fine. And just because I apologize, I haven't been very fluffy with this. What does this look like when she casts this spell?
So my Nimbus definitely, I guess you could say, if you ever see like, fog rolling in over a graveyard, you kind of get like this chilly feeling of like, spooky stuff happening. It's kind of like that surrounds her, and you might even see kind of like spectral hands surrounding as well as she works her magic.
And then how does it like coalesce? Is it just, do you grab it out of like a chunk of shadow? What do you think?
Well, you see it like it kind of forms in shadow in her hands, and eventually it just comes out, and then she's got a key that does not even cast a shadow because it's made of pure shadow.
I like it. And yes, Nimbus is a thing. It is definitely a mechanic. Talk with your ST about it, because this is a one-shot and I don't have that kind of time. But Nimbuses are super cool. But yeah, just walk over and... Oh, no, that's not... Yep. Yep, click. Yep. And yeah, it unlocks. There is no squeaky door sound, and notably it is unlocked, not necessarily opened yet, unless you all wish to.
Turn the knob.
Cool. Yeah, within, yes, no. This guy's is a ritual room. Black Sun inscribed on the stone below.
Shit.
And it definitely has, there is an odor, which the Moros, I'm 100% sure is familiar with, of, yes, death, a little bit of decay, blood. Yeah, no, this place sucks. And notably with your death sight on, because, that spell took you a whopping 6 seconds to cast. Yeah, you can see lingering here are some ghosts. Because Craig, do you have death?
No.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so your friends are unaware and cannot see, though they can see the rest of the room. There's no like huge pile of bodies or like blood pools or anything like that, but there are definitely bits of cleaning equipment, literally a mop and bucket that definitely has red tainted, no, that's not the word I'm looking for, stained, bristles, whatever.
You can smell the iron.
Yes. It is not great. There is what appears to be table that would, accommodate a body. There's, some stuff of implements. We'll just say that. And there is to a corner, actual coffins. Very kind of simple, generic wood, put the bodies in kind of thing. And probably sitting... If you guys have seen the movie Stardust, the row of ghosts, and you can hear them talking
brothers.
Yes. In this particular case, you see a family of 4. It is you can definitely spot the resemblance between them, and they're sitting, kind of rocking, kind of whispering to each other. They do not seem to be talking to each other so much as talking near each other and just clinging. And you as a Moros, I'm going to assume and not even make you roll. Most people do not leave ghosts. People leave ghosts when they have stuff left behind or if they have a particularly traumatic death. So yeah, you can spot the 4 of them kind of rocking and sitting, and for River's Wisdom and for Calamity Jane walk in and, oh, this is a messed up room, and Cole can see the effects and the after effects thereof.
Yeah, if either River or Jane look over at Cole, it's like definitely like an expression of, oh, this is a bad place. We're in the bad place.
Are you all right, dear? You're a bit more pale than usual.
Necromancer jokes.
Thanks, Greg. This is definitely a very deathy place. Ooh. We got a sitch here. Yeah, definitely say there's a sitch up. We got
On a scale of mildly inconvenient to the apocalypse, how bad is it?
I'd say a couple steps below apocalypse, maybe kind of skirting genocide.
All right, that tracks for the group we are dealing with.
Yeah. Cole actually takes a flask out of her inner pocket and just goes, like obviously I have seen some things. But,
so what do we do with it?
I can try talking to him, see if I can't get any answers as to what happened to them. But
Sure,
it's
that
a
might give
family
us
of
some
4. Yeah. Takes another sip, like.
Drew, is there any with Prime Site? Is there any supernal enchantments on the room or anything like that?
Cool. Yeah, looking through, Prime Site kind of, highlights the yantras, the things that could be used in spells, but there is nothing awakened about this.
Okay.
So for you immediately and them having been trained as mages, this is fallen magic is the term mages would use. This is they would consider it hedge magic. This is the stuff that is not supernal, but is the stuff that you learn, anything from, Wiccan and voodoo, any kind of pagan magic. That's what this stuff is. Which at least tells you, at least for now, a mage is not necessarily involved, but maybe a sorcerer, to use the mummy book term.
Like a hedge mage, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And for Erica, if you are wanting to speak with them, let me backtrack here to Mage Site. Death lets you see them, manifested ghosts, and then let's see here, attainments. I believe it is a mana. Where's Death? It's alphabetical. How am I missing this?
Oh.
It's the first one.
There we go. And can automatically see ghosts. Sorry, I'm looking at. There are attainments in for Arcana. And so as you reach certain levels, you can see and manipulate stuff. So for Death, they get Eyes of the Dead, which allows you to sense the presence of ghosts. And with the expenditure of 1 point of mana, you can interact with the ghost for a scene. That's what I was looking for. So you have that option, or you've got obviously Speak with the Dead, which you could cast on everybody, so everybody can participate. So it's up to you. And Craig,
do a group speak with the dead.
Cool. In this case,
let's do group chat.
Yes. And in this particular case, considering the spell, and at least for the moment, time is not of the essence, because I imagine you guys close and lock the door behind you. I'm cool with you just rolling Gnosis plus Death to call it, and we'll that way we don't have to build everything out. Now, if you want to build it out and go for that exceptional success, whoops. Yeah.
Willpower.
Yeah, if you wish, you can go ahead and add the three dice from willpower,
Alright.
and just roll 3d10.
Bonk.
Cool. Yeah. And ballpark right now, mages at Gnosis 1, new mages, your die pool, generally speaking, without penalties, is about 10. Is about 7. So, yeah. Yeah. Boom, cast that, touch your 2 friends, and now they too. And where death would see, like, manifestations and stuff, for you guys, it's just suddenly there are 4 ghosts sitting on a stack of coffins, and they are stacked, and they're sitting up kind of, I don't want to say nonchalantly, because that, but they're sitting there just feet hanging off the edge of these, stacked coffins, and just kind of sitting and kind of rocking and kind of mumbling and talking to themselves. Fun fact, Speak with the Dead also lets you bypass languages.
Yay, we don't have to try to do charades in German. Or whatever they may speak.
But yes.
Well, this is your wheelhouse.
Alright. So, being as diplomatic as I can, and it's non-threatening, even though I look like, a weird little death mage, I try to come up to them as non-threatening as possible, and I just begin like, I'm not here to hurt you, I'm not here to cause you any problems. You've already suffered enough. But in order to help you cross over, I need to know what happened to you, so we know who to go after, so you can be at peace.
It's a pretty good way to do that. Looking at them, and technically it would be another spell cast, but again, this is a one-shot, and I'm not going to stress time to tell. They definitely seem to be rank 1s. So trying to communicate with them is going to be tough. But yeah, roll a... I think in this case you're trying to get them to open up, and so it's going to be probably a presence plus expression if you're trying to get across... Well, excuse me, not expression. Empathy, or persuasion.
Is there a way I can help her with that role?
Yeah, if the 2 of you want to work together, I'll
need it.
Basically, somebody can take the 4 and the other will roll as well, and their successes will be added as bonus dice to the other. You do not necessarily have to roll the same exact die bonus. So if, for instance, Calamity Jane is going to do the talking, and Cole is going to sit nearby and provide like intellect plus occult to like, okay, hang on, these are the things we're going to talk about, these are the things we're going to avoid talking about, and kind of help guide and be the, not necessarily translator, but provide that assistance, we could do that.
Okay. And then I guess the next question is, would my striking licks and stuff apply? Because this is like a charming thing.
I don't think it applies. I don't think in this particular... Like, mortals, maybe.
All
Dead
right.
people, maybe not.
All right, that's fair.
But yeah, so
okay.
Erica can roll intellect plus occult, or if you have another idea of dice.
No, intellect and occult.
Oh yeah, that's true, because you've got the so in that case, Jen, you'll roll presence plus persuasion or empathy, and then add 4 additional die.
Okay, cool. Persuasion. Okay. Oh, can I also use my luck thing that I had cast on myself to make it a rote?
Absolutely.
Okay.
As long as you declare ahead of time.
Yes. So that means I would roll...
You roll everything normal, and then anything that isn't a success, you'll re-roll.
Okay. So then 2 more successes? Or 2 dice, I mean?
You rolled... math falling out of my brain. So you had 7 dice. You got
Yes.
2 successes, so you'll re-roll
So roll
5.
5. Cool. Hey!
And actually,
Exceptional success.
oh, actually, very
Yep.
true. And though, actually, now that I'm looking at it, technically, one of those dice would not have been re-rolled because that was the re-roll from the success because you had a 10 in there. We don't care. Just yeah, clarification. The actual route, but yes. So yeah, the 2 of you kind of put your heads together and kind of walk through the process and stuff like that. And the 2 younger folks, I'm not saying children, they're more teenage, but the children and the mother seem kind of just, they're not interacting, but the promise of revenge and getting back at somebody, the man who, especially now that you've gotten close, they look like normal, local villagers types, but all 4 of them have the same mark of this like rent in their chest. It doesn't look like anatomically, scientifically done. There's no rib cage even visible, but there's just this gaping hole in their chest, and just sucking dark void. Yeah, not great. But yes, the man kind of looks at you and says in German, which thanks magic. Technically it was a +1 reach, but whatever. Says the SS. And gives you some Oberkommando, rank name. Came sure. Came to us and took us and fed us, clothed us, gave us rooms after the fire took the house, and then one night marched us down here. And then just very quickly it's like, nope, he's lost. But yeah. And the 4 of them start kind of rocking and mumbling to themselves under their breath again.
Let me see.
I
used Ghost Sight on them, right?
Speak with the Dead is what you cast. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
I had a great idea.
Well, let me see.
Craig, are
What's
you
your
looking
great
at some
idea?
of the fate spells?
Oh, as soon as we walked in here and saw the ghosts, I started to concoct a little plan. The only thing I don't know is, can I do something like Shared Fate on an area?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it affects everybody in the area.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But before we have our fun, let's see what Jen and Erica are up to.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look at something, but at this point, I'll probably just, tell the ghosts, like, we will make sure that you are avenged, so you can rest easy, and I'll do it myself if I have to.
Hell yeah. Craig, you don't have space too, do you?
No.
You're terrible. Why you, for those of you at home, Space 2 is the magic that lets you cast spells on people who are not in the room. But okay. So yeah, letting this family know, yeah, it's cool. 3 mages are out to get revenge for you. We are on this. And also a side little note, within mage society, it is rude to manipulate and get involved in what other mages are doing, even if they're bad mages, if they're the seers of the throne, or are worse, part of the pentacle, which are, generally speaking, are good guys, that they can go astray. It's rude to get involved, and there's some political fallout that you might have to deal with. Sorcerers, hedge mages, stuff like this, nah.
Yeah.
They're outside the rules of engagement.
Yeah. Also, they're Nazis and fuck Nazis.
Okay with this collateral damage.
Yeah.
So, here's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
There's this great spell called Shared Fate. And when you injure someone or wound them or cause them damage, you take that same damage. But I can combine that with grave misfortune so that it comes back to you multiplied. So anyone who does anything in here again will suffer far worse than the people that they're dealing with. It doesn't actually solve the problem of the room here and the purpose behind the hedge magic, but it would certainly punish anyone who's involved in these kind of things.
At least, as a little stopgap until you come and, handle things more permanently.
Mm-hmm.
The ghosts say if they're the people performing the stuff, like, said any, sort of purpose for what they were doing or gave any hints, like...
No,
okay.
Yeah, basically when, the father explained, we were taken down into this room, and then he just kind of goes more pale white, and it's like, nope, I'm not talking about what happened in here.
But if you have other ideas, I'm certainly willing to listen to them.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna look through what my stuff can do.
Sure.
Absolutely. And this, and I mentioned this off stream. This is one of those like, this is the punch the Nazis part. I do not have a specific end to this. It's fine that this ends on a bit of a cliffhanger, but we want to figure out the best way that we want to get revenge on human sacrifice Nazi sorcerers.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, I don't have the Prime spell that can, like, unmake this place. I'm not that powerful on Prime yet.
We can also, if there's any, like, ritual equipment, make it into a cursed monkey's paw.
Yup.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any particular, like, I guess, ritual tools around here?
Yeah, there is a wide assortment here of, without getting too gross or anything, we have surgical tools, and then we have tools that look a bit more arcane in nature.
Well, are you able to unmake the room?
I can decay shit in the room. I was thinking about decaying all the tools. I can maybe decay the stone. I can decay this whole bitch if I felt like it.
And you do have shaping as well, so you could rend all this stuff into bizarre shapes, and we're not in unmaking, Craig. They only had starter mage stuff for.
That's fine.
Yeah, I know. At Arcana 5, you can make and utterly unmake objects. With matter.
I'll delete things.
Oh!
Yes.
With the ghost, can I do post-cognition to have seen the ritual through their eyes?
You can. And not from their eyes, but watching them. Yes. Or actually, you can cast post-cognition in the room, because the room can be the subject.
Oh, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so then I guess let me do that, so then I can, they're doing their stuff, so then I can get an idea of what the fuck happened.
Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, and you guys feel free to step through these spells, and if you have questions, let me know, and I can help provide guidance. Craig is off on his own, because Craig knows what he's doing.
I guess I'd probably want to wing, like if I was doing like a Gehenna Master, that's going to be a lot of reach, because that's going to be a pretty decent scale.
You talking about to get like the objects in here?
Mm-hmm. Or just like doing mass decay.
Mm-hmm. Not too terribly bad, because if everything's spread around the room, yes, but collecting everything, putting them in, say, arm's reach, that is a much smaller scale. We discussed that in our very first chronicle. We were like, oh yeah, that's a subject, and that's a subject. That's like 12 subjects. Oh wait, we can put them all in a 5-foot square effectively, and I can cast all of them with the same, and you just do the same thing to all of them all at once.
I need need reach for potency?
Negative. You take minus
Okay.
2 to your die pool for each
Okay.
level of potency you increase.
Okay. And then, do I need reach for the duration? Because I don't know.
By
How-
default, and this is where the handout
Yeah.
is, that left column where we're measuring
Well,
something.
no. I understand that. I'm asking for the specific spell. If I'm going back to, look at what happened, do I need? Because,
so-
it says a turn. But so, technically, if I'm watching the past or whatever, but I don't know if that means
The duration-
you see 3 seconds ago or
Correct.
something.
The duration for post-cognition is is based on how long the video is.
Okay.
You get to pick whatever time you want to aim at. So 24 hours ago, a day ago, whatever.
Yeah.
And then the duration of the spell is how much you're watching. And you are watching in real time unless you take the reach that lets you scrub.
Okay. I don't need the scrub thing. I don't think. And then the ghosts know roughly when they died. So I can get the time.
You'll have to roll another presence plus persuasion.
Okay.
To try and kind of coax them back out and tell me about when you died. But yeah.
Okay. All right. So let me do that first then.
Sure. And while you're writing that up or rolling that up, Cole, you're casting the shaping, and you basically got all their equipment.
Well, I'm doing decay, yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
So basically, next time they try to use these, they're just gonna break.
Cool, absolutely. Oh yes, please. Thank you. So
Also adding willpower on mine, hence the other bonuses. So.
Okay. Now penalties for potency. Are you increasing the potency by 3? Because that is a -6.
Oh no, I was trying to do.
Okay.
Because it's 2 for every potency, right? -2.
Affirmative. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'll do potency 2, so -4.
Okay,
So-
and decay is a potency spell already, so you're sitting at 3 to start with.
Okay. Yeah. So then, okay. I'm just really gonna make sure these things just turn into dust when I touch them next.
Potency 0 is effectively paper. So yes.
Is a success enough to get an idea of roughly when I need to do? Okay.
Technically, with Chronicles of Darkness, I should be giving you negatives based on how difficult or how much they're resisting. Just for the one shot, I don't stress about that kind of stuff. So a success is enough. Holy moly!
Oh man.
Cole says no. Okay. So
With that level of successes, can we also say that it's not just dust, it's the kind of dust that's basically like glitter, so they'll just never get rid of it, ever? It just is everywhere, forever, on their outfits, they'll never remove it.
You
They'll still
can
be
never
finding
clean
it
this
10 years
off.
from now.
potentially.
No dry cleaner will ever be successful.
So the one question I have is actually about your reach on the decay. So you did instant and then duration, or what was the second reach for?
Per the book closed on me. But
did attack the structure?
Yeah.
Okay, so that you literally have destroyed them. They do not exist. Yeah, because I thought you were going, because that's what I was wondering about. Because technically, decay can make it so all their useful little tools are like paper and will not hurt anybody and will just fall. In this case, yes, you unmade the objects.
Basically, I just got so pissed. I was like, well, because I'm so angry on behalf of those ghosts, I just kind of let the plot get away from me. I'm like, and this shit's destroyed.
Yep. Which, I mean, technically, if this is actually the thing I was going to throw at you, but this is cool because your exceptional success, I'm just going to go and select for you that you're going to bypass the withstand. Some of these things are enhanced and a little bit more oomphy, but you can just go, you know what? Nah. And just destroy it utterly. So we're good with that. And yes, Dahlia, your success, you can, kind of nudge and like, when did this happen? How long have you been dead? Takes you a minute to try and kind of keep them on track because their rank 1 goes, they're very hard to get to talk about anything.
Yeah.
But yes, you eventually kind of get a pinpoint of they've been dead for about 3-4 days now. Yeah. But it's
then the next question is just like, I don't know how to calculate reach with this type of spell. So again, like 1 for instant.
correct.
I don't need to add any for sensory because I'm standing in the room.
Correct.
Right? Do I need to add potency or just...
Yeah,
okay.
Advanced potency for reach is literally only ever used for when you're wanting a spell that you don't want somebody to dispel.
Okay.
Right.
But I don't have to worry about that.
Nope.
And then the duration is the one that I wasn't sure about. So, like...
If you want it to last for 3, because it is a potency spell, so it has no extra duration, by default, it's going to last for 3 seconds. So you would see 3 seconds, which is not going to be enough for you to see, like...
So let's do the day, then. So that would be 2 more?
There'd be 1 reach for advanced duration, and then you would take a -2 to make it last for a full day.
Okay. So then that would be 2 reach. And
I would suggest, because of the nature, you do not want to be sitting down here for the day watching this room.
Yeah.
And that's where you get into using that scrub. So you can just like fast forward, I don't care, oh, here's something's actually happening.
Oh, okay. So I should add another 1 for that? Okay, let me start over. So 3 then. And I get 1 free?
You get 2 because you have 2 time, don't you?
2.
Or you have 1 time?
1 time.
Okay, so one free reach, yeah.
Okay. My gnosis is 1. I have 1 dot. Penalties to increase potency would be minus...
You don't need any, because that would only be if you're trying to talk about before this room was a ritual room kind of thing, when the room was different.
But duration, I take the -2, right?
That would give you a full day.
Okay. And then scale, I don't need to worry about. Bonus from yantras. Okay. So, I'll do high speech.
Sure, yeah. Just you guys in the room.
And I probably can't use my name, so I'll use my
Actually, this is a very good one to use concentration on, because this is the only thing you care about right now. Right, so you can just, I'm going to concentrate, and as soon as I stop concentrating, the spell goes away, which is fine, because...
Okay.
Yeah.
So how much do I get from concentration?
2.
2? Okay, so
yeah,
that's
it's
5.
a nice bigger one, but because if you move, it stops. If you get hit, it stops. If you take any action, it stops. So it has limited use, but this is a perfect use for it.
Wait, why did it not go in there? What the hell? Alright, let's do that again. I'm so sorry, guys.
Quite alright. While you're putting that together, Craig, we're casting the Monkey's Paw and Grave Misfortune? Oh, excuse me.
We're doing
Shared Fate.
Shared Fate and Grave Misfortune.
Right.
Do I have to pay for potency for both of them if I'm doing it as a combined spell?
No, because it is cumulative across the both of them.
So the 3 potency plus they're both potency spells, so that'd be 7 potency.
Whoa. Oh, yeah, 4. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, yeah, that's right. You have 4 fate. Cool. That's a big old thing. So about that reach, buddy.
Yes, I have notes here. So, instant cast, advanced duration, advanced scale, +2 for any damage or tilt, and +1 for a one-way connection.
Okay. Yep.
And that would all apply to Grave Misfortune as well, or do I have to pay that separately?
Yeah, no,
Because it's a combined spell, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's all my reaches.
So that's 5 overreach. You're probably going to use your dedicated magical tool. So 5 times 3, 15, minus 2 is 13. Do you want to spend some mana on this, Craig?
Yeah, I'm going to throw my maximum mana per turn on it. So 5.
I mean, and you could go beyond that if you spend, because you're spending multiple turns. You could spend 13 mana. Or 10 or whatever. Because you would just keep casting.
Right, I'll spend 10 then.
Okay, so we're
Take it
down
to a more reasonable
5?
5. Yeah.
1 success. I'm not even going to have you roll your wisdom. Just go ahead and roll the spell.
Do you need to roll my paradox?
I do indeed. The yantras, you used your coin, I'm sure. Oh wait, you used...
Oh no! I use concentration and speech.
High speech. Cool, that's fine. So you've got two successes. Oh no! Again,
Boy.
we are at the end of the session, so I ain't stressing about it. So yeah, both of you go ahead and roll your spells, and we will leave behind as the sun rises.
Yes. Sorry.
You had 6 dice.
So I get 3 dice for my spell.
1, 2, minus 2, so you have 5. So actually,
can I add willpower?
You can, and your yantra bonus is a little off because that should be 4. 2 from concentration, 2 from high speech, which is fine.
Okay.
And then plus willpower, so that's 7.
Okay.
Yeah, 1 success. God. Yes. Welcome to Songbird rolls. Yes, Craig normally is rolls like 2 dice and ends up with 4 successes somehow. Chris, however, is they are cursed.
15 dice and get 1 success.
Yeah, but that's fine. So yes, River's wisdom leaves behind an area of effect thing. So here, and probably as the spell is cast, nobody bump anybody. This room is thoroughly cursed. Any damage done by somebody here is returned back to them 6-fold. Well, actually, it's just plus 6 damage. But yeah, that does mean if you stab somebody for 4 damage, you get to take 10.
Oh man.
Yes. Do not fuck with fate mages. They will ruin you.
And just to put a little cherry on top, I'm leaving oaths fulfilled behind. So
you'll know when it happens.
So every time it fires, I'll get a little vision.
And see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jen, you were
actually, I paid to reach for advanced scales, so we'll all get that little vision.
Oh, yay!
That's definitely one of those ones. Hey, do you guys want to see this? Questions that you ask, but yes.
Oh yeah, I guess I should have asked that.
Well, no, because fools rush in.
Well, specifically in the case, his oaths fulfilled is activating. Her oaths fulfilled would let you know whenever a specific action happens in a place or a person does a thing. So in this case, every time somebody gets hurt by this spell, I think is what Rivers is setting it up for, you all would get a momentary vision of it happening, which, because it may happen at any time, may be a little bit disconcerting. Please check and make sure you have proper safe consent when casting spells on party members.
I am paying the mana for the indefinite duration.
So it just lives here?
So it just lives here?
Cursed.
And then it's a willpower to tie it off, right?
Willpower point to unsafely do it, if you may come back here later and clean stuff up, or send the adamantine arrow or whatever, or a dot to do it safely. This is not something you want to tie off unsafely, because if it swaps subjects, that would
there's ways they can game it, right? So I want to make sure I can I can drop it. So I'll leave it in place with indefinite duration.
Cool. And
then maybe the free council will come back and do something a little more permanent.
Yep. And then Jen, you have we are not going over it, but yes, you definitely have a harrowing bit where you get to watch the ritual happen and just go, okay. And again, it's scrubbing, so you go, okay, here we are, and pause and go around and look into everybody's face and make some mental notes, because you, like Cole, have mind 1, which means perfect recall, and I can remember everybody's face, and go through and like your face and your face and your face, and yes, you have a collection. You see the ritual go through. It's something that you'll probably want to get back to the library and like figure out what the heck they're up to. But yes, and with that, and without having to scurry out, because they do that. Whatever, I'm not stressed because we're at the end. But that is, in a nutshell, Mage the Awakening, 2nd edition. Yeah, spell casting is dumb, but you will notice how quick we went from that first spell that took us hour to here at the end where Erica and Jen threw together spells in 10 minutes, less. It is not a scary system. You just need to take a minute to walk through it. There are definitely a bunch of resources out there. I myself am hanging out in the Gehenna Gaming Discord. You are welcome to @me anytime. There's also the Occultists Anonymous Discord, which you can come by. That's yeetinto.space. That's the URL. Come by, hang out. And of course, make sure you are following Gehenna Gaming for way more content than Occultists Anonymous puts out. Regularly putting out stuff. Support everybody. Patreon.com/Gehenna Gaming for them. Patreon.com/Occultists Anonymous for us. We do a Mage the Awakening game every Friday. Currently, we are doing Into the West, which is set in 1846 with, you think, Cole and Calamity Jane were new? Oh no, we're doing brand new, newly awakened mages who have no idea what they're doing, but played by more advanced and experienced players, so they get to make all the bad decisions as they try and figure out, hey, what happens if I do this? So yeah, that is our chronicle in a nutshell. Most recently, it only took them 4 sessions, but they all realized, you're a mage? You're a mage? We're all mages? Huh. Interesting. And they're now arguing about how magic works. So yeah, some good drama, some bad mistakes, and it's only going to get worse. Otherwise, thank you all for joining us. Jen, Erica, thank you very much for putting up with my stumbling and stuttering direction. Greg, thank you for being a total bro and backing me up here. If you are at home and you're curious about this, I highly suggest picking it up. It is a lot of fun. There's a lot of creativity to it. The Dark Eras, is it Dark Eras? Yeah, Dark Eras 2 book has the best Dark Eras setting ever. Mage Pirates. All right, I'm just putting it out there. It's there. Go hang out on a boat with your other mage friends and go be piratical and be free and do whatever you want. Or there's a Wild West setting. There's an Alexander the Great setting. And it's them and werewolves in the Dark Eras 1 book, which is To the Strongest, I think it is. And it's prehistory. Cavemen, mages, and werewolves. So yes, Mage gets all the best stuff. I'm not in any way biased. Thank you all for joining us. And anybody got any last minute things to say?
Okay. That's it. Thanks a lot. I had a lot of fun.
Thanks, guys.
Oh, please support Mora on Kickstarter. It's super great. And there's a genre all about punching Nazis.
Also, just gonna plug it because a lot of my freelance pals have worked on it, but the Exalted Essence
Kickstarter, yes.
Kickstarter is up, yep. So if you like Exalted, if you'd like a streamlined version of the 3rd edition rules for newbies to pick up, this is the Kickstarter for you. So please go on out. It's been going for about 48 hours plus now, so go get in on it. It's going to be great. I can definitely verify that it's an amazing system.
And if you're unsure of what Exalted is, over-the-top godlike beings, anime as fuck, yeah.
Anime the game.
It's terrific. It's wild. Highly suggest. I don't know if it's in essence, but there's legitimate rules. Did you describe something as being really cool? Cool. Here's bonus dice. So yeah, it's cool. With that, thank y'all, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.